Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Red Zone. I'm your host, Jason Myles. For all you new listeners that may be familiar with This is Revolution, this is our leftist sports show where we talk about sports from a left perspective. And by we, I mean my trusty co-host. You guys know him as the man with all the sports knowledge. We don't just talk about football and basketball and baseball. We talk about soccer here, football. We definitely talk about combat sports here. And we talk about deeper dives into sports, which I want to get into real quick. Please welcome my co-host, Mac. What up, dude?
What is up, everybody? I hope you had an amazing holiday season, no matter the flavor of holiday you celebrated.
Everybody, I forgot this is our first Red Zone of the year. Feliz Año Nuevo, as we say here in Rosarito.
I'm so proud of you, Jason. Now we have to expand your Spanish knowledge outside of that.
You would have been real proud of me today. I went to go pay my Wi-Fi bill so we could do the show. And there's usually a little pay kiosk that you can pay and don't talk to anybody and you take a credit card. That was broken, and I had to go deal with the actual customer service representative, and I did it all in Spanish. You would have been so proud.
Dude, I am. Because I worried about you when you were like, when Marcus and you like laid it on, you're like, guys, I'm moving to Mexico. And Marcus and I were both like, what?
Why?
You know,
you speak Spanish? Nah.
Yeah, that's exactly. I think that Marcus was the one that was like, "Do you even speak Spanish?" And that was the look on your face. Dude. Nope.
No. I'll figure it out. Got no choice. I want to make some rules for 2024 that I think we should all follow.
Okay.
Hear me out here. In 2024, can we never call someone a system quarterback without defining what that system is and how it functions?
I like that one. I'm on board.
I really hate this idea that people get devalued because you feel that because they play in the right system, that's the only reason they succeed.
And can we go ahead and point out the biggest one, probably the most successful one in the last 5 or 10 years, a guy named Patrick Mahomes III?
System. He's a system guy.
Yeah. Oh, he played in that Mike Leach air raid offense. He's not going to be worth a shit in the NFL. And then the Chiefs fucking move up and take him. And he's like, he ain't going to be worth nothing. And then, I don't know, he set the record from his 300-yard games in his first, 40 games. You know, he's won a couple Super Bowls. I mean, I guess he's all right. He's okay.
Patrick, what system? And if you tell me the coach's name and the system, you're telling me you don't understand the system they play in. And you're just saying words from pundits that you've heard. And you don't understand the route concepts in that system. And you don't understand the fact that all quarterbacks play in a system.
Yes, indeed. And here's a caveat, what we can call a subheading under this rule is... don't talk to me about systems, because being stuck in a system is what got Pete Carroll fired and is probably going to lead to Bill Belichick moving on to other coaching areas. Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
We think we know, right? Because, hey, look, dude, I play Madden. I played on manager mode.
Oh, yeah.
Let's also stop talking about football or any sport like we work for McKinsey. If I hear one more person,
if I would have had White Claw come out of my adult seltzer, because unless you're paying me, you get no airtime here. Okay,
that is
if I would have had seltzer come out of my nose, because that is exactly what people fucking do. They act like fucking Mayor Pete breaking down the roster of a team, and I'm like, dude,
when did neoliberal rhetoric get into sports talk to the point where people don't understand sport?
I will go ahead and say this: honestly, when right wingers were like, "Stop kneeling and play sports ball." See, when you introduce something like that into an area, there has to be something to balance it out, right? So you get conservative thought: stop kneeling and play sports ball.
Stop kneeling and play sports.
What brings it in then is someone already pointed out Nate Silver, the Nate Silverization of sports. They're like, well, analytically, he is just, he's a subpar quarterback.
They count against the salary cap, dude. On my drives when I'm going to see my family up north in the Bay Area.
Oh, I love how you call it up north now.
It's no longer home, man. Sad to say that home is here in Rosarito.
Don't be, man. Don't be sorry to say I've left the capitalist hellscape of the United States in my rearview mirror.
I'm in the shadow of empire, brother. It's not like it's.
I know.
You know what someone told Ben Burgess when he moved down here. Someone goes, "Oh, you live in Baja, huh? Neoliberal." No. He said, "Oh, you live in libertarian California." Yeah, this but look, Justin Fields, who is a very good talent and is playing some of his best football.
Excuse me, he's the homosexual love of my life. Okay, that's Justin Fields.
Justin Fields, I think, is playing some great football. There was a time in sports where we said, and I'm not trying to opine for better days. I understand that, there is a different learning curve with people that have played sports since they were 6.
If you start opining for better days, you're only one step away from telling people to stop kneeling and protesting.
I'm going to need Justin Fields. I'm going to need you to cut your hair short like Warren Moon. He was a good
Knock it off.
There's more talk about his value to the Bears because he just re-signed him and he counts against the cap. More than I hear people actually talk about his play. So if we can get rid of those two things, let's stop talking like we're analysts for McKinsey and we understand the ins and outs of sports management. Let's also stop talking about athletes and sports through the lens of gambling. Gambling has changed so much. It has messed with fantasy football so hard.
Well, I would say fantasy football kicked it off first.
Sure. Right? Sure.
Even before the gambling part.
Sure.
Like when you got into like the roto baseball leagues, which was kind of like, we're dipping our toe into this let's be assholes to athletes thing, right? But then we got into fantasy football, right? And then it became something you could just do on an app on your phone. Granted, we had a great time in the TIR league. I'm still
Emma pissed. Got to give it up to Emma.
Pissed. Emma won.
Got to give it to Emma.
Horseshit. Okay. I played in 2 leagues this year. In one league was an 18-team league. I finished 17th.
God damn.
And in the other league that I've been playing in with my brothers, I finished 3rd 4 out of the 8 years we've had it. This year I finished 2nd. So in another 8 years or so, I'll finally win it. But no, like I think the fantasy football thing did. And then with the fantasy football, it's also the expanse of social media, especially athletes who maybe you're not getting into their Facebook, but you know what they have? Twitter, or excuse me, as I like to call now, Elon Musk's hell site. People feel the need to just reach out and tell it, and it could be the athlete. I follow and am acquaintances with a woman who works for FanDuel now, but she was on like my really, really tiny sports podcast like 4 years ago. And she was a kind of an internet, name. But she came on my tiny little sports podcast, like she was just like, sure, yeah, I'll talk fucking football all day long. But like some dickhead is mad because, and she's based out of Cleveland, because she said some honestly on the spot negative shit about Deshaun Watson. And he made a burner account. And within 13 minutes, she had his name and fucking confronted him on his main page. And then he fucking deleted all that shit. She's like, don't be that guy. Right? Like, people think that they can just reach out and talk shit and say nasty, horrible things to people, and without any repercussion. And that's fucked up. Like, nothing pisses me off more when supposed sports fans are like, you know what? I hope you blow out your ACL tomorrow. Why would you say that?
Why would you hope that for someone? That's so sad. Even when the opposing team is playing my team and I see someone get hurt, maybe because I'm older now and like more sensitive, I'm just like, oh, that poor kid I hope he's okay. I'm always like, I hope he's okay.
Yeah, dude, the team I detest more than anything else on the planet won the national title. And I still would not wish an injury like that on any of their players. No.
I'll wish a hemorrhoid on you.
I hope you step on Legos.
Yeah. I'll wish some like the shit that makes you go, like Peter Griffin.
Yeah.
I'll wish that kind of shit on you.
Yeah.
But okay, let's talk about the national championship real quick. The swan song of the Pac-12.
I mean, the thing is, this is the sad thing. We have to call it the swan song of the Pac-12 as we know it.
Okay, fair enough. The Pac-12 as we know it. That's a fair caveat.
Yeah.
With a team that no one really had picked in the preseason to go all the way. I think everybody wanted the sexy pick USC and one of my favorite quarterbacks coming out this year, Caleb Williams, to go to the national championship. But for me, it's 1 and 1A with Caleb Williams and Michael Penix. Mac will tell you, I have been singing the praises of Michael Penix since his days in Indiana. Yeah,
dude, literally I think we were bullshitting when he blew out his ACL the second time. It's so hard to because he's in his 6th year of eligibility right now.
He was playing against the kid that died from Ohio State.
Yeah. But I think it was his redshirt sophomore year when he blew out his knee the first time, and Jason's just like, Penix can throw, and I'm like, okay, like Michael, are we watching the same dude? And I understand he played in Indiana, which is not what you would call a hotbed of football, but I mean, I'm gonna tell you right now, the sad thing is Michael Penix played himself out of a lot of money during the national title. A lot of money. You know what I thought of when I saw him? And I don't know if you thought the same thing. Byron Leftwich in his bowl game that he played against who would later become his backup, David Garrard in Eastern Carolina. Yeah. I mean, the thing is Penix, like, Kalen DeBoer is an amazing coach. And I think he's done a great job. But we didn't see. I mean, we all got spoiled with 2022 Washington. Yeah. Right? Where Penix is just, everybody's seen Zach and Miri Makes a Porno, and they're like shooting the scene, and the guy just walks into the coffee shop, and he's like, "Hey, I just watched Ben Roethlisberger chuck it football." Like, that was Michael Penix last year. This year, it was not like that, right? Outside of the first probably 5 games, they played in a lot of close games, one-score games, low scoring games. Yes. Defense won some games. Running game won a lot of games. Yes, and I'm going to tell you right now, the defense is good for Washington, but there's a reason in the first quarter Michigan averaged 19 yards a carry, right? Because Washington's defense is very like flex, react. They have the speed to do that. But when you're playing a team that's just going to punch you right in the fucking teeth, those defenses don't do well. And I will case in point 2009, the 2010 year, but 2010 Rose Bowl, Ohio State, Oregon. Ohio State came out and just like karate chopped Oregon right in the dick from the very beginning and just kept doing it the entire game, right? And the thing is, it's like, I don't think Washington, you can prep, you can scheme, you can do all that, but they were not prepared for the amount of physicality, And yeah, they kind of tightened up. I think Michigan, ended up with like 6 yards of carry average because, they did. They made some good plays hitting behind the line of scrimmage, but by the fourth quarter, that Washington defense was worn down, and Blake Corum and the backup running back who took 2 to the house on home run carries in the first quarter. They just couldn't do anything. And see, this is what pisses me off is Michael Penix played himself out of a lot of money, and JJ McCarthy made himself a lot of money, and he's done nothing.
Let someone take that risk, because I think JJ McCarthy is going to be, at best, you get Mac Jones.
I'm going to tell you right now, JJ McCarthy is going to end up a UFL quarterback. That's all I'm going to say. And if anybody doesn't know the UFL, that is the merged league of the USFL and the XFL.
I don't think. Yeah, he did
March 30th.
He didn't really impress me from what I saw.
He's not an impressive quarterback. When he's given time, he can hit a deep throw. Okay,
you're supposed to.
Right? Yeah, exactly. But, dude, okay, Joey Nichols, I'll tell you right now, JJ in college is not better than Mac Jones in college.
No, I don't think so.
No fucking way. Just stop that nonsense.
That's why I said at best.
Yeah.
I think you get AJ McCarron.
Right? Well, dude, I think AJ would, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man.
He's no Drew Henson.
Yeah.
Hey, he's no. There's a blast from the past for the old heads watching the show.
The guy who split carries with Tom touches with Tom Brady.
Yeah. Michigan quarterbacks, much like Ohio State quarterbacks up until CJ Stroud, to me, leave a lot to be desired.
Okay, first off, you stop right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, CJ Stroud, absolutely amazing.
Yes.
Justin Fields with a good offensive coordinator is going to be amazing. All right, now before that, sure, go ahead. Dwayne Haskins.
We don't know.
Went to a shit situation in Washington and died way too early.
Way too early.
Right. But yes, before those.
That's my beef about also, too, the way that we look at why I wanted to start off by saying, let's stop looking at athletes like we're analysts at McKinsey. We're trying to cut costs.
Yeah.
Because the art of developing talent and fans understanding that when you get a young guy in, you have to develop them. What happened is we got spoiled by some young, amazing talent, and we forget that there was a lot that was done around those guys so we could see those amazing years. Ben Roethlisberger.
Not everybody is plug and play.
No.
Okay, not everybody is plug and play. And we'll use Ben, right?
Yeah.
Ben was a recipient of an amazing run game his first few years. The way Brady was.
Yes.
People forget Tom Brady didn't throw for more than 2,500 yards until his 4th year in the league. Mm-hmm. He had Corey Dillon there.
Oof.
Okay, and this is when Corey Dillon was written off from Cincinnati. Bill Belichick picked him up on a whim, and he became the bruising runner he was his first 3 years in Cincy.
Yep.
Right? Now, when the game changed, right? When the game changed and it started opening up, Roethlisberger was surrounded by amazing receivers. And before he went off the reservation, Antonio Brown was an amazing receiver.
Amazing.
Okay, absolutely brilliant.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then you had the kid from Michigan State that shot himself in the leg that they ended up
I can't think of his
name. Plaxico
Burress, yeah.
There we go. Sorry, guys. I'm showing my age a little bit. I apologize.
Plaxico Burress. I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Yeah, but like the Steelers were able to really draft a lot of wideouts. Mike Wallace was another good one for a little bit, right? Like they put some people around Roethlisberger, but look what happened. Roethlisberger's last probably 2 or 3 years when he didn't have a big target wideout to go to. Like that offense fell off the fucking rails, man.
Yep.
And that led to Ben just taking the hits because he stood in the pocket so long because there was nobody to throw the ball to, and so on and so forth, But yeah. The fact of the matter is, right, I hate that Michael Penix played himself out of a lot of money against just a tough defense.
Yeah.
A tough defense.
Yeah.
And before anybody goes and says, yo, Mac, like, this is like a down year for a national champ. No. Michigan won every team.
Games. They beat Alabama.
Yeah, they beat every team put in front of them. Every team. And that's all you have to do. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and talk shit about Michigan. I'm not. I'm going to cry a little bit after we get off stream because I have to listen to Michigan fans until fucking September.
Oh.
Right? But, you know, they did what they were supposed to do. You know, so you can't really complain about that. But I will be pissed off that JJ McCarthy may have played himself into like a second round pick. Like, that guy's done nothing in his collegiate career that says he's a second round pick. He's done nothing. Right? So I like Michael Penix. I think the story is great. I think he's got a lot of things going against him because I don't know if you guys watched that national championship game. He's got this throwing motion that's more like flicking the ball. Mm-hmm. And it's easy to read. And that's why he was picked off a lot. And it is a lot for a national title game. He was picked off. He also made a lot of bad throws on bad reads. There was a reason he threw 52 fucking passes and only had like 260 yards. You know what I mean? You know, so like he made a lot of bad reads against that defense. He's going to need a lot of coaching going into the NFL. And the thing is that could count against him because he's going to be like an older guy going into the NFL.
I don't know.
Not Brandon Weeden old. You know what I mean? Not Chris Weinke old.
They are though, because Weinke was 27 coming out, I think.
28. And
I know Weeden and Weinke were both 28 coming out.
Weeden was 29 when he came out.
I know they were. I mean, Henson was a little older by the time he finally went to the league. I know.
Well, it's because Henson was like, you know what? I don't need to play football. I'm going to go be a third baseman for the Yankees. Yeah, and then when he gets it, they put him into Columbus when the Clippers were their fucking AAA affiliate. Mm-hmm. Dude could not hit off-speed pitching. He looked like Pedro Serrano from Major League flailing away at anything that was a breaking pitch.
I'm hella mad you said, fuck you, Jobu.
Yeah.
You just fuck you, Jobu.
You do not mess.
You know, but everything you're saying about Penix, you know who I remember hearing this about a lot?
Lay it on me, dude.
Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck has a throwing motion. He brings the ball down too low. I remember that.
Yep. It's just that. The thing is when you I'm going to equate it to this. Like when we were talking about the Ball brothers and their shot. Mm-hmm. Penix needs a good quarterback coach to maybe help him change his delivery so he can, one, make his read maybe a little quicker and get the ball there quicker. Because that flick on a deep pass, it's beautiful. Like we saw it with Adunze in the fourth quarter when they weren't out of it quite yet, you know? Yeah. That's beautiful. But a flick on a fucking like a slant or like an 8-yard tight end route, that's not what you need to do. You got to get the ball in there with some, you know, with some oomph. And I'm not saying Penix doesn't have the talent for that, right? He does. He's a very talented kid. Mm-hmm. But the fact of the matter is, he's going to have to change some things to keep up with the speed of the NFL. Because even though there are some bad teams in the NFL, like, dude, I'm a Pats fan. We won 4 games this year. That's a bad team. You know what? The Pats are still really fast, too. You know? You know who else is really fast? The Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
you know who else we heard this about? Josh Allen.
I've already told my Josh Allen story.
Yeah, and
if anybody hasn't heard it, his first 2 years.
You will get that Michael Penix is going to go to IMG or whatever academy that cats are going to get ready. All hitches in the giddy up.
Homie, do you know where these quarterbacks are going now?
Where are they going?
Jordan fucking
Palmer?
Rodgers. Or Palmer, yes.
They're all going to Jordan Palmer's
yeah.
Palmer's academy? Okay,
Jordan Palmer has become
Carson Palmer's brother.
Yeah, he's become the quarterback coach of the Stars. After, like, I think he transferred, twice? Ended up at Vandy for his last hurrah.
Is that where he ended up finishing his career?
Yeah, Vandy.
He was in the NFL backing people up all over the place.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he ever got in a game.
But one, I know he's smart because he was academically eligible to play in Vandy. right? Like, you can't be an idiot and go to Vanderbilt. That's just no, right? You can't fucking do it. But people are going to Jordan Palmer now, and Palmer like straightens out the mechanics. Like, I'm like, I love the fact that Jordan Palmer was like, you know what, I couldn't cut it. You know, I tried to give it a shot, but he's such a smart and he connects well with the students where he can do that for people to help them out. Like, I think that's pretty rad.
Before we move on to the NFL, is, you know, all hats off to Michigan for winning. They did beat everybody. They beat Alabama. Is Jim Harbaugh going to the NFL?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Does he? Well, Chicago did not fire the coach. They did fire the offensive coordinator
and the quarterback's coach.
Would Harbaugh come in and be a very highly paid offensive coordinator? Did not take any pressure?
Absolutely not. Not after what he did in San Francisco. There's no way he would step down and be a coordinator. Honestly, I can see him in LA with the Chargers. Right?
Herbert.
Yeah. Or, dude, if I'm Seattle, I push Pete Carroll out into an advisor role. You have the fucking Microsoft money. Go after Harbaugh. Yo, Riv, I am with you. Nothing threw me off more after I cried a little bit because Michigan won. But when Jim Harbaugh post-national championship is like, college players should absolutely unionize. I'm like, what the fuck? How am I empathizing with Jim Harbaugh right now? Fuck this dude. But he's absolutely right. They should. But
I think Jim Harbaugh stays in college. I don't think he's going to the NFL.
I don't think so, man. Because you know what's still hanging over him? 3 NCAA investigations.
For sign stealing?
No, it's not even just sign stealing.
What else is the other one?
Impermissible benefit, contact with players. Like, granted, I don't know if you guys know, the NCAA president changed. He's like an old Air Force general. And he's also a dude who I think is kind of rad because he wrote a whole proposal saying that we have to have a whole new subdivision with the top teams, I think he said 50 teams. They have their own subdivision and the universities pay the players. All the players, not just football, not just men's basketball, all the athletes. Right? So I think that's where we're getting to. This is the point we're getting to already. So if the NCAA president is saying that, that's kind of rad, right? But I just don't think that, like, at this point, Jim Harbaugh won a national championship for his alma mater. He's always had the itch to go back to the NFL. I mean, dude, last year he interviewed with the fucking Broncos, remember?
That's what I was really hoping for.
Before they went after Peyton, right? But I think what really pushes it over is the fact that Michigan has like a stupid long extension that they've been sitting on since the NCAA announced all the investigations. And they haven't put it in front of them yet. So the thing is, it's like when we talk about a school getting tired of the coach, the buyouts are always high. Look at Jimbo Fisher. Oof. Texas A&M paid him $77 million to go away. Right? When it comes to the coach just leaving the college, a team to go to another college team or to the NFL, the buyouts are very low because these agents are fucking brilliant at their fucking job. Like, it's what it is. So, like, I think his buyout, like, he would have to pay Michigan, I think, $6 million to leave and go take another job.
I just don't think he's going to leave. Remember, he's a Wolverine. He can do something that hasn't happened since Bo Schembechler and build a legacy.
He's already got it. I mean, the thing is, he built it up from the Rich Rodriguez, train wreck, and the thing is, he doesn't need. I mean, the dude won at the University of San Diego.
He did. And right? When his quarterback is still in the league, Josh Johnson.
Yeah.
From Oakland.
Yeah, I think he's 106, 107 years old right now.
That kid is only like 32 or something. So
he is not 32 because like Harbaugh coached at USD in. I mean, you got to think in the early 2000s.
I'd look it up. I don't know how old Josh Johnson. I don't think he's that old. He can't be that old.
All right, we're gonna look it up.
You know what's really funny if you think about the quarterbacks that Josh Johnson backed up that were #1 draft picks that aren't in the league anymore.
Okay, first off, Joshua Javon Johnson is only 5 years younger than me.
Joey Nichols says that man is like 38.
Johnson has been a member of 14 different NFL teams.
Oof.
And he also played in the UFL version 1.
Oof.
And the XFL version 2. He was selected in the 2008 NFL draft.
He was selected.
Yes, in the 5th round by the Buccaneers.
By the Bucks. If you remember, the Bucks were winning with Johnson, and they drafted Freeman. I can't remember Freeman's first name. It wasn't Marcus.
Josh Freeman. It was Josh Freeman. Yeah, from Kansas State.
Josh Freeman, because Josh Freeman was a physical specimen coming out of Kansas State at like 6'6" or something like that.
Yeah, but the guy never completed more than 58% of his passes. So I'm just sitting there like,
nobody has time to deal with potential like you could years prior.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
The development of the quarterback position is a thing of the past. And back to what we were talking about with Roethlisberger, the success Roethlisberger was able to have, the success people like Tom Brady were able to have. And then when you start thinking about that next wave of super quarterbacks that comes out in the 2010s, Andrew Luck and RG3 just come into the league like the Kool-Aid man.
Well,
Newton comes into the league like the Kool-Aid.
It also goes back to what we talked about before with the specialization of high school athletes.
Yes.
This is what they do. So you're going to get more robust play at the collegiate level, and they will be more prepared in the professional level, especially now that most pro coaches finally are like, you know what, these kids are playing a more spread offense. It's more wide out. I guess we'll implement some of these things, you know, that type of thing. You know, but I mean, the thing is, like we were just saying, not everybody is plug and play.
Yep.
You know, Joey, you're absolutely right. Jordan Love, rough first half of the season. Look at him on the back end, though. Jordan Love looked amazing.
The Packers are in the playoffs again.
Yeah, and on top of that, right? People forget Jordan Love played at Utah State.
Yep.
And he is literally the winningest quarterback in Utah State history.
Sure.
Because, you know, this was a downtrodden program. You know, and he, like, I think they had like 2 10-win years when he was there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, and let's face it, Utah State, when you look at the state of Utah in college football, they have a rivalry between Utah, BYU, Utah State, right?
Mm-hmm.
But let's face it, Utah State plays the Mountain West. Who gives a fuck?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was always BYU, Utah, BYU, Utah.
Yep.
You know, and they actually have a trophy that they,
I forget what it's called.
Yeah, it's probably something very Mormon. It's like the white sheet.
The salamander. Play for the salamander.
Sorry if we have any Mormons listening. If I hurt your feelings.
If we do, shout out to Mormons.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, Jesus was on the West Coast.
Yeah, here we go. Really? Here we go, Jason. I recently learned what soaking was, and I'm like, oh my God, Mormons are weird.
A little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Like, you literally have penetration, but no movement. And then they will sometimes enlist somebody to jump on the bed to move it for you, but you're not moving it. So it's not a sin.
You say weird, I say party. Because what it sounds like to me is that Mormons have crazy orgies.
Well, it sounds very Elon Musk in that they're disrupting the sex industry. They're shaking it up.
We're sex disruptors.
Yes. You know,
we're democratizing intercourse. It's not just for him, her, or him, her.
It's for
her, him, them.
It's for everybody.
It's for theming.
Oh my God. I think you might have just termed something new. Theming.
That's non-binary rimming.
That's right. But before we go on to pro ball, we have to address the elephant in the room. Nick Saban retired. He called it quits.
What? Yeah, I don't have a button for that.
Get your hand off my penis!
That's all I have.
Well, I mean, something tells me Nick Saban is a bit of a homophobe. Anyone he would say something like that. But like the dude won 7 national titles, 6 and 12 years with Bama, 1 with LSU. I mean, Isaac, I don't think he comes back, man.
He's not a young man.
He's 72 years old.
Yeah.
That is not young for the college game now. And I'm going to go ahead and say this. We all know the college coach that bitched the most about NIL was Dabo Swinney.
Mm-hmm.
Just hates it. Just, back in my day. And it's like, Dabo, you're 50. Shut the fuck up, right? I think Saban didn't like where the game was going. I didn't think that he liked that before NIL, Nick Saban could look at a 5-star recruit and say, you're sitting for 2 years.
Yep.
And you will not see the field.
Yep.
NIL hits, you recruit a 5-star player, you're going to sit for 2 years. That kid's going to be like, nah, I'm out. I'll spend this season here. I'll hit the transfer portal, and I'll go someplace where I can start tomorrow.
Yep.
And I think you didn't hear Nick Saban, like, towards the end of this year, he was like, yeah, I get it. The game's changing, da-da-da-da-da. But yeah, acknowledging that it changed doesn't mean that you want to be a part of the system that is changing. So I don't think he comes back, man. I don't. He's going to go down as the best college football coach of all time. He's going to beat out Bear Bryant and everybody else.
He'll be talked about like Bear Bryant.
Oh, dude, yeah. And honestly, when you get down to it, when you come down to wins, losses, and I'm sorry, Bear Bryant beat up on a lot of bad teams, right? Nick Saban played in the, 21st century fucking SEC and won 7 national titles in it.
Jesus, bro. Did he? Is that totally 7 nationals? I mean, they stockpile talent in a way that I hadn't seen talent stockpiling in a long time. And I think that alone is going to have a lot of the old guard going, this game is different. And I think one of the things that you pointed out to me in a text conversation that we had about that, and I do want to say this before we move on, is Malachi. He's a 5-star quarterback.
From USC freshman.
USC.
Yeah.
And the guy starting above him, Marshall Miller, those 2 M's.
I think it's I just look at him as but that kid got no snaps until bowl season and then balls out in that.
Oh my God. He looked phenomenal in that game. That being said, so this freshman, even though he's the
5-star recruit,
I think he was the number 1 dual threat quarterback coming out that year.
And number 1 and number 2, something like that. Yeah.
So him staying at SC for a couple years as they just keep stockpiling receiver talent again. Why would you leave? He decides to go to
Boise State.
Wow.
Boise State.
He didn't go to Penn State. He didn't want to go to Oregon. He didn't want to go to UW. He goes, I'm going to Boise State.
And I think he was a California kid too.
I think he's an LA kid.
Yeah. Okay. See, so I wasn't off the mark. I was really surprised. And everybody, like, I texted Jason. I was like, hey, it's Malachi Nelson, right?
Yes, Malachi Nelson. There you go.
I was like, hey, this kid is transferring out. And Jason obviously was like, bro, did you see the guy in the bowl game? Did you watch it? And I was like, yeah. But like a 5-star recruit who spent all of 1 semester on campus opens up his recruitment. And immediately on Twitter, they're like, Boise State is the number 1 school. And I'm like, Boise? No knock against Boise. They've been a a pretty steady program. And this year they fire their head coach in the sixth game and ended up winning, I think, 8 or 9 and winning the Mountain West.
They're a tough school since I've been 8 years old.
Yeah, but like Boise, that is a school you decide to go to. You probably could have went anywhere. I was really surprised. But you know what? I'm not going to knock the kid. If that's the best situation for him to start and put up numbers, I'm here for it, man. Like, you guys know, I will never, ever, ever knock a kid from saying, you know what? This is not the school I need to be at. I think it's about time that the player's ability to move matches the coach's ability to move. Right? Because you have all these boomer fucking NCAA football fans that are like, you know what? When you sign a national letter of intent, that shows you're here for the school. No, kids go there for the coach. And when the coach leaves, they should be able to leave too. That's why they went there.
My question is a bigger question, which is, a lot of people have left major programs for smaller programs, and not all those people got the shine that they wanted to get.
Yeah.
I remember Jerry Rice's son was one of the earlier people. He has another son, not the one that plays at USC. He had an older one that played at UCLA, actually. And that kid wasn't getting a lot of snaps.
Didn't he play with Snoop's kid at UCLA? Yeah.
Puffy's kid, sorry.
Puffy's kid, thank you.
Yeah. And he transferred to a much smaller school. I think it was even Division II, and I think he got a walk-on in the league. You got guys like Keaton Slovis that left SC. I think, where did he go? BYU.
Yeah, Slovis went to BYU.
JT Daniels went to Georgia,
and then
hurt.
Left Georgia
to Rice.
Pittsburgh, then Rice.
Max Brown, who has a YouTube channel, who actually does do those kind of deep dives into systems and telling you the route combinations people are running and the differences in college sports. One thing that Max Brown pointed out is all college sports is a hodgepodge of everything. There's tempo, there's spread. Every quarterback in college right now is running plays under center.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's like the spread hits, the Mike Leach's spread. We'll call it Mike Leach's spread, because you have to understand, in the late 80s, you had, you wouldn't call it the spread, but it's the NFL equivalent of the run and gun.
The run and shoot.
The run and shoot. Thank you. Right? So you played a lot out of shotgun, but there was still a lot of running involved. Right? Miami was a big proponent of it. That's why Jim Kelly had the stupid amount of success he had when he left the USFL Houston Gamblers and finally went to Buffalo, because Marv Levy ran the fucking run and shoot, and the thing is people, what they forget about the spread, like the read option spread that we have now, still a lot of running out of it. A ton. Dude, the first college football playoff, Ohio State, Bama. Ohio State's on, they're playing Cardale Jones that year, in that game.
Yeah.
But Zeke ran for 150 yards, just fucking breaking the backs, of Bama that year. You spread the field out to get your playmakers space. That's why you do it. Right. And it doesn't have to be out of shotgun. It doesn't have to be with a 5 wide out set. You could easily do it with 3 wide outs, a tight end, quarterback under center, and a running back. You set the tone early on to where you're looking at space. You're looking to make space. And that's the thing, is, like you said, these quarterbacks are used to playing not just out of shotgun anymore. And that was always the knock on Patrick Mahomes, right? Played 80% of his snaps at Texas Tech were out of shotgun. That was the Mike Leach air raid. That's what they did, right? But I think he's made a pretty good transition to the NFL.
Kyler Murray played in that similar system, because he came up under Kingsbury, and I watched that game that they beat Philly, and he takes snaps under center at 5'10".
Yeah.
So The game, what I'm saying is that the college game has changed, and these kids are pretty multifaceted in what they can do. I remember back in my day, I remember when guys like David Klingler and Andre Ware came out
Oh,
from
Houston,
the run and shoot.
those Houston teams, yeah.
And they had to teach him how to take 7 and 5 step drops. And those guys got to the league and they couldn't do the drop and then hit the back foot hits, the ball has to be out to this guy. If you remember, they used to throw tons of interceptions, those dudes.
Oh, dude, yeah. I mean, you got to think Andre Ware only made it 2 years in the league. And a lot of that had to do, honestly, with Barry Sanders.
Yes.
Because he wasn't used to handing the ball off and would just miss the pocket the entire time. And keep in mind, Barry Sanders, for my opinion, is the best running back to ever put cleats on.
Sure.
That guy took handoffs from some of the worst quarterbacks in NFL history.
Scott Mitchell.
Yeah,
Eric Kramer.
Just dog shit QBs. And he made something out of nothing, right? Like that was
no tight end. The majority of his career, no tight end, no fullback.
Yeah. So like if you are so fucked up, you can't put the ball in the pocket of Barry Sanders. There's something very deeply wrong with you, right? And then Klingler goes to Cincinnati. Remember, he was one of those long runs of horrible Cincinnati QB picks. Yes. Remember, Achilles Smith was another one.
Yeah.
Like
another footwork guy.
Oh, dude. Yeah, absolutely. It's not like it, like you said, it's not like it used to be. You have these players that, again, they specialize in this. They go to camps all year round for this. Mm-hmm. They play 7-on-7 ball, and they are multifaceted. And I love that. I love that, like the University of Buffalo can get a 3-star quarterback and completely change the entire tempo and entire outlook of their program. Good quarterbacks are not just 5 and 4 stars now. I mean, I don't know if you saw, but the 3-star kid, Mayava out of UNLV just transferred to Georgia.
Really?
Yeah. Just transferred to Georgia.
Huh. Is he kin to The Rock?
I don't know, actually, but I would not be surprised because apparently he's
from the Bay?
Bro, his people fuck. The Rock's people fuck.
There's so many. Those twins, those wrestling twins are kin to The Rock.
Usos.
The Usos, yes, what they're called. Yeah. All I didn't realize they were all related.
No, here's this. Okay, The Rock's daughter is wrestling in NXT right now.
I didn't know that.
Okay, you have the Usos and Solo Sikoa, all brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Roman Reigns, also a cousin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you have oh my gosh,
Rikishi's got some kids in wrestling too. Right?
No, the Usos are Rikishi's kids.
Rikishi's kids. Okay. And there's other kids he's got.
Yeah, dude, there's so many of them.
There's a lot. There's more than you think.
Oh yeah, people don't realize like how, again, the Rock's family fucks, right? Male, female, they're like, we're gonna make a baby. They're gonna be wrestlers,
giants.
Just
they're gonna be giants. Giants. Fucking. They might have figured the eugenics shit out over there.
I mean, dude, Jason, black men,
Samoan women.
Samoan women.
I'm letting you know right now, it's only going to get worse. There's areas of LA and Oakland that are just hood Samoans. It's just going to get larger.
And see, that's where Triple H is going to show up one day. He's like, "Who wants to wrestle?"
You guys want to not get CT? you may have no hips and be bone on bone in every joint in your body, but
your brain's going to be fine.
You won't get CTE.
Yeah.
No one wants to get oiled up by another man.
Hey, man, who amongst us who is so homophobic they will not get oiled up by their buddy?
What? Do you remember that Always Sunny where they go oil up the bodybuilders?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Sorry, I remember that.
Like, I get it. Always Sunny is like the whitest show on TV. Like, I get it.
It's still on, isn't it?
Yes, 18 years. 18 years.
I've said it before. I think it speaks to a few things. A bit of a lack of creativity when it comes to television programming.
Okay, I will disagree with you there because Rob McElhenney,
Mhm.
who we would also call an English football club owner, along with Ryan Reynolds,
Mhm.
um, is funny as shit. And what he does is he makes fun of everything. Nothing's off
I
limits.
think his weight gain
Oh,
that he did on purpose to
brilliant.
get yes, I don't think they're bad people.
No, but
I'm
like,
just saying that when you have something that runs that long,
but dude, it's
it's
still
not
good,
animated.
Jason. It's still
I
good, bro.
haven't seen it in years,
Oh, dude,
but
I watch it to this day, and it's just like nothing is sacred. There's no sacred cows there.
no, when they did Lethal Weapon remake, you knew there was no sacred cows,
Yeah, but like,
which was still hilarious.
yeah. Oh my gosh,
Greasing the beefcakes, right? Yeah, greasing the beefcakes.
gotta agree.
But it's interesting that we wouldn't have seen this years ago because people would have wanted something new.
Yeah,
And it's a weird moment we're in where I'd love to know the amount of time that The Office takes up on the internet at certain hours of the evening.
yeah. I mean,
Because
dude,
that's a show that show's been off the air longer than it was on the air,
I'm
and people
waiting for
still watch it.
them. I am waiting for them to do the remake of Beverly Hills Cop.
But 4 is coming out, by the way.
Is that really
4 is coming out.
like
They
when
shot it before one of the officers died in real life.
I hate that they redid White Men Can't Jump.
I won't watch it.
I haven't, and I refuse to.
I won't watch the Karate Kid remake. I won't watch the Red Dawn remake.
Oh, I've watched the Red Dawn remake.
Look, if it doesn't have Patrick Swayze, if there's not the scene of Avenge Me, can't watch it.
Roadhouse. Like that was
They remade Roadhouse?
No, they're going to. Conor McGregor is going to be in it.
I'm not going to watch it.
No.
Roadhouse. There's a few movies that I can put on every time and be entertained every time. And I'm going to say these movies and you're going to look at me and like, oh, what kind of I don't care what you say because I have no guilty pleasures. If you don't like it, go fuck yourself. I can watch Dirty Dancing.
Oh,
every time.
Brilliant movie. I'm sorry. It's enjoyable. Like there's some problematic shit in it, but then you have Nobody Puts Baby in a Corner and I'm like, fuck yes, dude.
Right?
Fuck yes.
I can watch Dirty Dancing every time. I can watch Red Dawn every time.
Yeah. I mean,
if it's on regular TV, I can watch Red Dawn every time.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I love Red Dawn because it speaks to the part of me that's like, me and 6 of my bros can do this, right? But the other part of me is like, these anti-commie motherfuckers, like, man.
It's a good way to explain to Americans guerrilla resistance in the land of American empire. When you invert it and you go, I need you to understand this is what America does literally everywhere.
Yeah. And then on top of that, it's like you realize that when all you fucking bubbas decide like you're gonna overthrow the government, it's like, bruh, you know what they didn't have in 86? Drones.
That movie would have been real short.
Oh, dude, 10 minutes long. 10 minutes long.
Real short.
Dude, I saw this.
Short.
I saw this stand up, and this guy's like, you want to know what I want most? The anti-government DOD face-off on Christmas. Where like you got the guy out there with the microphone, and he's like interviewing Billy Bob, and he's like, hey, Billy Bob. And he's like, Billy Bob's, like 5'10", 300 pounds. His body armor doesn't fit right. His rifle's like $4,000. And he's like, hey, Billy Bob, how you feeling this year in the anti-government DOD showdown? Well, I'm feeling pretty good. I think we got a good shot. We're going to get him. There's 100 of us. And he's like, all right, we're going to go to Jim over in Vegas. Hey guys, it's Jim. Yeah, I'm here with Airman Third Class Carroll. Airman Carroll, how are you feeling? He's like, well, I'm flying a drone. Wait, I'm right over top. Hold on, click. And that's it for this year's anti-government DoD showdown. Airman Carroll, how do you feel? Well, I mean, I pushed a button. Like that's exactly how that shit would go now, And
Very different move. That's why I did when they were like, we're remaking Red Dawn. First of all, why?
and they made the bad guy North Korea to not piss off the Chinese government.
Again, you didn't watch Karate Kid as a movie every fucking time it's on. Gremlins every time it's on.
I will say this though, if we're talking like a remake of a movie we grew up with, Prey, which is a Hulu movie featuring Predator, was fucking phenomenal.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Dude, it takes place in like the 1700s, and the protagonist is a Comanche woman, and she outsmarts. And like when I say Predator, like what I love what the writer did, he made like the Predator more like feral. Like he didn't have the tech because this is 200 and something years before Schwarzenegger. But dude, it was such a rad movie. It was so good. And my daughter fucking, she's my little feminist. And she's like, we watched the first Predator, and she's like, Dad, that was stupid as shit. He coated himself with mud and beat this technologically advanced like warrior dude. And I'm like, yeah, we watched Prey. And when she beat the Predator, my daughter literally jumps up and starts hooting and hollering. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Someone hasn't seen the Prey movies.
Joey, I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry.
I didn't know. Look, I don't know. New movies are a thing that I rarely watch unless JG Michael goes, oh, there's this new movie on some random fucking streaming site, or he sends me a fucking file of some super fucking random weird film that just came out. I might watch that. I am these people that watch the same thing over and over. I recently went back and started watching the original canon Ninja movies, and I rewatched
Jason.
Yeah,
I swear to God,
fucking
dude.
love ninjas.
Hey, guess what, man? It's not 1989 anymore. You're allowed to watch. Yeah, dude. I'm with Nick. Prey is up your alley, dude. You need to watch.
I have a date coming here in a few weeks. Maybe we watch that. It sounds like a very fun date night.
It is, and it's not heavy. There's some moments of like suspense. It's and on top of that, they actually use the Comanche language, which I thought was rad as fuck. So
but here's the thing, Mac. Is there a ninja with a mustache in
it? Jason, the cast is actually native.
Do any of them have mustaches?
None of them really have facial hair.
If you are not a white man with a mustache and a purple ninja outfit, I don't know if I can, or if you're not 70-year-old Charles Bronson.
Oh my gosh.
Shooting poor people
with the world's oldest revolver.
If you're not Charles Bronson walking around the Bronx with a grenade launcher.
Oh my God.
Taking out criminal organizations with your AAP card in your back pocket, or a 45-year-old white man with a mustache wearing purple pajamas.
Everybody, I'm going to send him some good movies that I know he'll enjoy.
Dude, I watched Enter the Ninja the other night, and I was like, I don't understand why any of this shit is happening in this film. All I know is I'm watching some good-ass martial arts, but every time Frank Nero is messing with these nunchucks, someone said, I talked about this on the show the other night, someone said nunchucks destroyed young kids' testicles. I I fucking fell out because you watched Frank Nero with them nunchucks. You know his nutsack was as bruised.
Okay, can we before we get into like real sports shit again, can we agree that stuntmen in the 80s had the worst job?
Oh,
Can you imagine being a stuntman? They're like, all right, hey, Jason, hey, come on over. All right, so what? Oh, is it Michael? The guy who did, yeah, Dudikoff.
Yeah.
Dudikoff is gonna like pull some nunchucks out, and he's just gonna slap you right in the nuts real quick. And I know it's the 80s. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make you a little cup. It's mostly good, it's gonna be mostly styrofoam. It's gonna hurt a little bit, but hey man, we are paying you less than scale to do that.
And your face is covered.
Yeah. So you just take those shots to the nuts. And he's like, all right, man, what, two or three takes? And he's like, yeah.
There's literally a tool they have in the
28 takes later. The poor stuntman's just like, I can't do it anymore.
I think don't hit me in the beanbag. dude. The ninjas have a tool in Enter the Ninja that they like when they do their ninjaing. Because ninjas are supposed to be able to walk and you can't hear it, and I don't understand.
Well, yeah.
It's ninjing.
Even though real ninjas wore literally the Japanese equivalent of wooden clogs when they were dressed up.
These dudes have this thing that goes in between your legs and it pops you in the nutsack. It was like a weapon. It was like a nutsack breaker. This is why I watch these films. I have a nutsack breaker in my house that I made. I fashioned my own nutsack breaker in case somebody breaks in.
Well, Slightly Tethered hit the nail on the head. Republicans are like, we have to get 14-year-old kids back to work. And it's because getting hit in the nuts like that is why birth rates are down. Stuntmen used to populate America. And now they can't. They've taken so many shots to the nuts that they can't bust enough loads with enough swimmers.
Watch. Everyone watching right now, go watch Enter the Ninja. I put a video montage. I was so excited. I did the show Saturday.
Jason, I am terrified of your video montages after the one you sent me
with
the two dickheads in the Jeep. And they hit somebody and you see a dummy fly up and they drive past and the guy just pulls out a law. Okay, and keep in mind a law is not like an accurate weapon, and they shoot the thing out of the air. And you see this horrible rain of fake blood just flop down like it's water.
If you've never seen, listen to me now, people. If you've never seen an Andy Sidaris film and you are a male of between 40 and 51, they're on Amazon. And I will tell you, as Mac leaves the screen for a minute, I will tell you which ones to see. Hard Ticket to Hawaii is the pinnacle of Andy Sidaris films. Andy Sidaris made his mark in TV. And he took his TV money and probably a few kilos of cocaine and set up shop with his wife in Hawaii and made these beautiful Cinemax films. I call them Cinemax films. That's where I watched them. And they all have the same plot. Most of them have the same people in them. And it's a bad guy wants to do bad guy stuff for no good reason. There's always like an arms deal. There's one movie called Guns with Eric Estrada. Really good. Bad guys doing bad guy stuff. Yes, Joey Nicholas. It's on Amazon Prime. I promise you. And then there's these police officers that are like a little bit more than police officers, and they all live in Hawaii. And they're all really tan. And for some reason, they just all fuck each other. I don't know why. Sometimes one of them dies in a horrible assassination attempt, also for no reason. Then a remote control car will be used, or like a remote control plane will be used, kind of like a side mission on the old Grand Theft Auto. And that'll blow up a big thing. And then they'll have sex again. And then crazy shit will happen in between. Ninjas will show up for no reason and they'll get shot. Pat Morita will show up for no reason. They are so much fun to watch. And a while back, do they die from sex? No, they have sex on the beach. And then they usually die from a rocket. Someone always shoots a rocket from a helicopter. You have to see these. They kind of have a plot, but it doesn't matter. It's like a 12-year-old wrote it. Hey, 12-year-old Jason, what do you want to see in a movie at midnight while your mom's working the night shift on your stolen cable? Explosions. Okay, we got explosions for you. What else do you want to see? Is this between us? Of course, Jason. It's a focus group. You know what a focus group is? No? Then shut up. Can I see a boob? Sure, Jason. Sure. You want to see two? Can I really? Uh-huh. What else you want? Ninjas. Gotcha, little buddy. And then Andy Sidaris movies were born.
Now, let's face it, one of the best aspects of 80s and early 90s movies, when we're talking about two boobs, Leanne, what was her name? The blonde chick. You know who I'm talking about? Like, she was always in like the softcore.
Two boobs. Gene Simmons' wife?
Yes, that one.
Shannon Tweed.
Yes, Shannon Tweed. That one.
When I tell you I ran into her at a festival years ago when I was working a festival.
All right, before everybody is like, oh, you guys aren't talking about sports anymore. I think we went off the rails enough. This is one of the nights we needed Miss Descant here, but we're off the rails, and that's where we're going to continue to go.
We're going to get back on track, but we have to let us finish this thread before we give you a bunch of sports.
Yes.
Shannon Tweed was that woman that made me want to see boobs in those Cinemax movies.
Yes. Oh my gosh, man. That woman. Okay, first off, I grew up around a lot of like flat women. Like, I don't know if you guys know, my last name's McGinnis.
3 boobs.
Hey, Virtuoso, 3 boobs. I watched Total Recall for that
so many times.
Okay.
I watched Total Recall.
All right. But like, I grew up around a lot of not chesty women, and my mom got Cinemax like the free 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And like, my mom worked like 2, sometimes 3 jobs, so I'd have to take care of my brothers. Like, that was my thing. I'm the oldest kid. I have to do it, right? And I didn't give a shit. I love my brothers, man. To this day, I do anything for them. And my brother got sick, my middle brother. So he's like hacking, coughing, throwing up. I'm up cleaning this shit up. I'm 11 years old. I put the Cinemax on, and there she is. Miss Tweed in all her glory, no shirt, the largest areolas I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, we gotta stop. We're definitely about to get.
And it blew everybody. My head exploded. I'm like, what? Just, that was it. It was Miss Shannon Tweed. And I can't believe she married a degenerate like Gene fucking Simmons.
Dude, I had no idea who she was because she's had so much face work, sadly. But someone recognized her daughter because remember they had that reality show with the kids.
Yeah.
And her kid, she was there with her kids. And someone was like, dude, that's Shannon Tweed. I was like, that's and so I walk, go walk by. Because we're pieces of shit, right? We just go look. We're in a VIP section.
So first off, you're not pieces of shit, my friend. What you are is a product of a time where Miss Shannon Tweed showed the goodies to hundreds of thousands of young men at the time.
Look, one of the benefits of doing this show and kind of saying fuck the rules a little bit in what we do, and people get mad at me, and I want to say this on air on the main show. People want something from you, right? They're like, we watch the show because you give us the thing. And I'm like, I don't know what that is.
Well, before we go on, Nick said, meet my friends. Yeah, it's a show hosted by Leftist, but they talk about football and boobs. Well, Nick,
oh shit.
Hopefully your friends are like football and boobs. I'm sold.
Someone says the next level of heterosexuality. What's up? Toussaint makes fun of me all the time. She goes, "You are so fucking straight. Like you're so like sorry, dude."
Like that's the thing. Like I don't like I love Toussaint. Like I've only had like minimal interaction because like she doesn't do our sports show a lot.
No.
But like the 2 times she did, like I remember her popping up in chat and like, what are you two doing?
You guys gotta stop.
Yeah, please. No. We're talking about sports ball. And we're like, my favorite was Jason. One time you pop up and go, we're gonna get to it. You know?
Like, I just want you guys to understand for a second here. The movies that I still consume as a 46-year-old man. But Andy Sidaris movies, mostly things by canon. And these movies are highly offensive. I will be writing something about these movies shortly and putting it up on Patreon. I'm going to start writing reviews for these films. And they're going to be honest reviews about the problematic nature of these films and how they still affect us to this day. That being said,
the 80s were such 80. Honestly, let's go 80s and early 90s too.
Oh fuck yeah!
Right?
It didn't get better in the 90s.
No, and like everybody, like before we go on, Less Than Zero, right? Less Than Zero.
Oof. One of my favorite films.
Oh,
love the book too. Yeah.
One of my favorite too.
Yeah.
Horrible fucking film. When you talk about like the social.
Oh yeah.
Awful.
Like, awful people. Yeah.
You know, and then when you talk about who's the dickhead that wrote American Psycho? Bret Easton Ellis. And then he had the other film with James Vanderbeek. You know the one I'm talking about?
Art School Confidential?
No.
It wasn't.
Hold on.
It's technically the sequel. The movie you're talking about is technically the sequel to Less Than Zero.
Yes. Give me a second. I'm going to tell you. Hold on. I'm going to do this.
Rules of Attraction.
That's it. Thank you. That movie, awful. When you like, there are scenes of date rape and just like awful shit. But the first time I watched it, I'm like, holy fuck, I love this movie. Like, because the cinematography was great, the way they interwove the stories, you know, and I'm just like, holy shit. And then now that I'm a bit older, I was like, one, how did anybody, okay, I don't give a fuck what kind of producer you are. How do you have enough money to go, you know what I want to do? I want to adapt a Bret Easton Ellis novel. Before some studio head's like, dude, are you fucking high?
Where everybody fucks. Everybody.
Yes.
If you read the book Less Than Zero, the main character that Andrew McCarthy plays is more bisexual, and it's a 3-way relationship that he has with Jamie Gertz's character and Robert Downey Jr.'s character. And he has relationships with a bunch of other dudes in the story as well. And the drug dealer.
Well, do you want to know
go ahead.
You want to know what the kicker is? James Vanderbeek's character in Rules of Attraction is the younger brother of Patrick Bateman.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a universe that he
did this whole thing. And the thing is, unless you have read the books and like really paid attention to dialogue in the movie, and I unfortunately, guys, please, everybody in chat, don't judge me. I went through a period of time where I read Bret Easton Ellis and Chuck Palahniuk. Okay, and I apologize for that.
We've been talking about areolas for the last 20 minutes, so I think you're fine. Can we also say this for 2024? If you assume that you were supposed to be a perfect person your whole life, you're a shitty person.
Yeah, I mean, and let's face it, I have grown up. I have grown up.
Yeah,
and I've gotten. I've done the exact
I've seen
opposite.
real areolas.
That's right. I've seen real ones.
I've seen actual areolas.
My rules for areolas and boobs are big or small. I love them all. Okay, like that's just where I'm at in my life.
I told someone my rules, and they just laughed. I'm gonna type it to you on the thing because if I say it on the screen,
that's fine.
I'll get a phone call from Toussaint, and she's gonna say mission abort.
Yep.
Okay.
No, but
hold on. Okay, good. Make your point.
My favorite thing, is I've grown up, and I grew up in a very traditional, very conservative Irish Catholic family, and they're like, you're only going to get more conservative as you get older. And then when I got out of the army and I grew my beard out and I still had hair, my uncle goes, you look a lot like Karl Marx. And I go, that's what I'm going for. Jason. Okay, Jason, there's this Aussie guy I follow on TikTok, and he plays two sides where there's like this drunken rich guy, and he makes up the rules to sports. So like they're doing rugby, and the I guess the underling, his name's Jason, right? So it's like, hey, Jason, I'm going to make up a new sport, and what we're gonna do is you're gonna throw the ball in. I can't do Australian, sorry guys.
Everybody's Irish.
Yeah, everybody's Irish, right? And then you're gonna lift this man up, and he's gonna catch it. And Jason goes, and then what are they gonna do with it? Well, whatever they want, Jason. And I can hear Toussaint in my head right now. Jason, he's doing the same shit.
You see why I can't read that on air?
Yes.
That's a true story.
All right,
and the face you made, literally, same face you made.
Chat, if you put $200 in the super chat, Jason will put this out on the Patreon. He will type out exactly what he typed to me. But it has to be $200.
It's a rule that I have.
Well,
and
I respect it, my friend.
Keep it. Hey, is that not keeping it real though?
It is. But it goes along with my rule. Big or small, I love them all.
It is. It is definitely. Look.
Yeah.
They're in line. In line.
I'm not gonna lie, Nick. I haven't seen you in chat like in all the Beyond the Red Zones we've done, but I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
I am glad you're here, my friend. I am glad you're here.
Someone makes the sacrifice.
Well, I mean, Jason, we have to get before we get back into sports.
Yeah.
While you were gone,
and
I was co-hosting, I may or may have not gotten some people like, "Where's Jason's OnlyFans?" Because he said he was going to do it.
You have to live in Rosarito, and you will see OnlyFans all the time because I live alone, so I walk around fucking naked all the time and open up my blinds because you can't see in. Well, you can't see in now because people that live across the street move.
Yeah. Okay.
I told you about that, right? That I thought that they couldn't see me.
Oh yeah.
And one day they were just like, that fucking guy again. Who does he think he is?
There's that Americano with the baby's arm dangling down.
No, they're more like, oh man, it must be cold in there. You should get some insulation.
Shrinkage is real. Shrinkage is real. God damn it. We have to talk about the head coach openings in the NFL right now.
Okay, you told me some. Okay, back to sports.
Back to sports. Everybody.
We had a brief 30-minute digression.
We did.
This is a long sports show. And instead of filling it with neoliberal talking points about cap space.
Yeah, and where McKenzie, Justin Fields, if we cut him, if we trade him, we can get potentially a second-round pick back, and we don't have to pay him out. The extension that he gets.
The Broncos are hamstrung with Russell. Fuck that. So the coaching firing that I'm kind of shocked about is, I almost said Bill Parcells.
What Jason meant was Pete Carroll.
Bill Parcells in 1990. That was not called Pete Carroll.
Yeah. And everybody, I just want you to know, like, you saw that Pete Carroll, like, if you subscribe to, like, the sports, like Bleacher Report, CBS, or whatever, it came out and said that, Pete Carroll was moving to an advisory role with the Seahawks. Ownership group pushed him out. They said, we're going in another direction. We don't want, 10-7, 9-8 seasons anymore. And honestly, with the GM John Schneider that they have, they keep unearthing all these like guys that they are amazing, and he gets in the late rounds. So they pushed him into an advisory role. And Carroll fought tooth and nail to keep his job. So when we're going down the list right now, there are 6 head coaching openings in the NFL right now. So that's 1/6 of the league. Now, keep in mind that also includes the Raiders. And if anybody doesn't know the rules, even though you have an interim that's wildly popular and did an amazing job, Antonio Pierce went 4-4 in his 8 games. They still have to do a whole recruiting search, a whole hiring process. I really think Pierce keeps that job.
But can we talk about how kind of ridiculous the Rooney Rule is? Like, I get why you have it in theory, but in practice, when you just say it out loud, you have literally a black head coach.
Yeah.
But you have to bring in new black guys, or you're in violation.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine?
I mean, the thing is, I think
totally cool.
if I'm Mark Davis, right, what I do is I let Antonio Pierce know, and this is all hypothetical. Anybody, I can't make I'm not going to get Mark Davis in trouble. Actually, I hope he gets in trouble with that fucking haircut he's got. But anyway, right, I go to Antonio Pierce. I'm like, bro, I got you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, chill. And I bring in the whitest, most non-threatening offensive coordinator from like Southwestern Louisiana State University.
Oh, Jesus. Does he come in with the Klan hood too?
Dude, let him come in with the Klan hood. I met the intent. I interviewed more than 2 people, more than one person, because that's the thing. You have to interview more than one. So I interviewed Antonio Pierce, who is, I don't know if you guys know, he's a giant, jacked black dude. Okay. And I have, Klan from Southwestern Louisiana State University. Right.
That's White Monday. Somebody said that's White Monday.
Yeah, White Monday. Yeah. Yo, Jason, DC Joe Black is on his game tonight. Dude is on his game tonight. Right? But see, I interview this fucking Klan motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, this guy sucks, Roger Goodell, but I got Antonio Pierce right here, and this is who I'm gonna hire.
Mm-hmm.
You met the root of the Rooney Rule. Right? That's
but all you have to do is just, you can have a parade of Negroes fucking bojangling their way into the office for a fucking goddamn interview, and then go hire the white guy that you want. I don't give a damn about bojangling Negroes in the interview. Look, we really want to get Belichick in here, but we have to bring some Negroes in.
And the thing is, I think that's what the Spanos family is doing in LA right now.
You got fucking Turbo and Ozone showing up from Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo.
I think they've got a whole list of like black assistant coaches, and they're like, here's my list. And Goodell's like, you know what, Mr. Spanos, thank you. And Spanos is on the phone with Robert Kraft right now, like, bro, how about a first and a second, and Bill comes over?
Yeah.
Like,
It's like, dude. Here's a list of these are good black people. They're real. They're not even mixed.
They are full black.
They have nappy hair and everything. Oh, looks like this one's got a 500 credit score. I hope you hire him.
Oh my god! I mean, this is the kicker. Like, I think the Rooney Rule is important, but we also have situations like we had with Brian Flores, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who was the coach of the Dolphins, who was told to tank.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I'm not doing that. Mm-hmm. And then Stephen Ross sued him after he fired him. And now Brian Flores is a defensive coordinator of the Vikings right now. And last year he was a defensive coordinator of the Steelers. Flores is a fucking Patriots dude. Like, he came up like breaking down game film and then became a positional coach and was a defense coordinator for a little bit before he went to the Dolphins, right? Flores is an amazing coach. Amazing coach. The players, every player that's ever played for him loves him, right? And now I love that Antonio Pierce is probably getting that Vegas job, honestly, because Mark Davis is a fucking bitch, right? And his players, like when Max Crosby is like smoking cigars in the locker room of a publicly owned facility where you're not allowed to smoke inside, and Antonio Pierce is covering the fines, right? These players love Antonio Pierce. He's not going anywhere.
They're busting their ass for that guy. Dude, I watched them shellac the Broncos.
Dude, yeah. And dude, on top of that, like, Pierce knows what he's doing. He has surrounded himself with people. He's like, I'm a defensive guy. I was a linebacker. Not good with offense. Put some offensive guys in there to help him out. And like we were talking about, the players fucking love him. They adore him. After what McDaniels did was like try to make the Patriots way west, which it doesn't work anymore. It hasn't worked. Dude, it didn't work. The Patriots way did not work the last few years when Brady was in New England, you know? Like, the Patriots way thing is done. You can't do that anymore.
Why?
Because the game is more specialized. The players are faster, bigger, stronger. You can't put Troy Brown, right, your slot receiver, at cornerback anymore. You can't do that. That doesn't fucking work, right? And people don't realize that the two jobs that are open, Vegas and Tennessee, Amy Adams Strunk, who owns the Titans, and Mark Davis, who owns the Vegas Raiders, their entire net wealth is tied up in the team. Those are the two poorest owners of the NFL. Yeah. And I use poor in air quotes because
that's why they can't get certain free agents, because of rules about how much money you have to have on hand.
Well, it's not even that. Like, I don't know if you saw, Nashville publicly funded $1.6 billion for their new stadium. Keep in mind, it was approved literally a couple days after Dave and I did our episode on TIR about publicly funded stadiums.
Jesus. It's like no one listened.
No shit. Dr. Dave Walton and Mac, let's fuck them. You know?
They're going to bring jobs to the city.
Yeah. You know, even though Dave and I talked about that the entire episode, it doesn't bring real jobs to the city. But the city of Nashville is on the hook for $1.6 billion that we know of. And if you watch the episode, and we talked about, Miami Marlins Park, it's not 1.6 billion because they take out loans to build these stadiums. And Miami Marlins Park will not be paid off until late 2040s. And by that point, what does Miami need? A new stadium. So Amy Adams Strunk, who her dad, Bud Adams, bitched and moaned about the Astrodome in Houston and used that, that shitty stadium to move to fucking Nashville, is now dangling in Nashville. If you don't build me a new stadium, we will leave. In Nashville.
And go where?
Well, that's the thing, dude. NFL is a guaranteed fucking like money churner. So they could go to, honestly, Portland has been dangling money in front of any owner that is not happy with their stadium arrangement to get people to go out, to get a team to go to Portland. You know, like it's freaking
Interesting.
ridiculous, right? And the shitty thing is people don't realize, like Dave and I talked about, you're going to be on the hook for this for decades. Like on that episode, dude, Montreal had the Winter Olympics in 76 and didn't pay off the debt for that until the early 2000s, dude. These stadiums are not cheap, right? But Amy Adams Strunk managed to finagle $1.6 billion in publicly funded money for a brand new stadium for the Tennessee Titans.
Isaac says, I want to put this comment on the screen. He says, I work in Portland Public Services. Shout out to Isaac. Always shout out all the people that work in public services.
Absolutely, Isaac. Thank you, brother.
Extremely
Thank you.
thankless job. And we can't fund, I think he means fund shit already.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Warriors left owing the city of Oakland millions of dollars. Do you think people are not going to the game because of that? The news doesn't even talk about it.
Well, bro, let's face it. People in Oakland can't afford to cross the bridge and go to the fucking new stadium.
That new arena. Stadium is not for you.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not for you. Sports is becoming more and more for you. The people watching this show right now, most people watching this show, we all joked about the $200. Everybody's like, I can't find it. You know what? It's sports ain't for you.
Yeah. I mean,
no one wants to say that out loud, but it's so expensive to even get this. Did you see what the NFL is doing for one of these playoff games? This big gamble?
Peacock.
How much can we squeeze out of you poor fucktards that can't go to the game and pay for parking and a beer and all the other shit and then take the
tickets, the fucking tickets.
It's so expensive. It's not for you. Events are not for average people anymore.
No.
Why do you think this goes back to the whole, hey, this show has been on TV for a gajillion years? It's for other people. I don't know too many people that love Taylor Swift.
My daughter, total Swiftie, listens to Social Distortion and then we'll follow it up with
Taylor Swift. She sells out arenas. Who the fuck is there? Who the fuck is going? Shit's expensive. Going to do anything is extremely expensive. When we do a live show, we don't get paid based off what you guys paid for the ticket.
Everybody, I'm sorry I'm coughing. I had laryngitis last week, and the shit is still fucking punching me in the schwanz. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. The thing is, live events are not for us. They're not. I mean, dude, Rage Against the Machine's drummer just came out and said, we're not touring anymore. We're done. I wanted to see him last summer, and the cheapest ticket I found was $300. Rage Against the Machine. In 1997, I saw them for $12. 12.
That's the thing about bands like that people get upset when I say certain things about the music industry and punk rock and how, you know, you're not as revolutionary as you really think you are. I'm not saying about hip hop.
Yeah.
You can say, if you're right, you can be like, we're not going to play anywhere where the tickets are this much money, but you're Rage Against the Machine on a reunion tour. You can't fit at the Roxy in LA anymore. You can't play the Whiskey like you did.
Yeah.
Those Viper Room shows where 40 people were showing up.
Oh, dude, the Agora in Cleveland, dude, you said you played there.
Is that what it's called? Yeah.
Yeah, you maybe packed in 80 to 100 if you didn't want
that was a little spot. Yeah, that spot.
Right?
Yeah, love that spot.
Yeah, you know, like it's absolutely ridiculous. But like you're absolutely right. Events are not for us anymore.
Stop thinking it's for you. It isn't for you. All these fees involved.
Jason, do you remember 3 years ago there were these fucking a group of 3 black dudes who've literally been going to the Super Bowl every year since Super Bowl 1 until 3 years ago when it was so expensive they couldn't go. And the NFL did like this little thing for them on NFL Network. Still didn't offer him a fucking ticket.
Jesus.
Still didn't offer him a ticket.
You guys can crowdfund your way in.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, this is why everybody, this is my deepest wish. I want a Cleveland, Detroit Super Bowl.
Ooh, I was thinking the same thing. Small market, Rust Belt.
Can you imagine Roger Goodell's face in the skybox? Just cringing when that game ends up 13-3.
Have you ever seen? So this show starts with a very good tune that I wrote and recorded myself. But this show starts with a montage of shit that I love, and Rollerball, which is a movie I'm thinking about trying to do for a movie night. James Caan Rollerball. We don't mention LL Cool J Rollerball.
Before you do James Caan Rollerball,
okay,
you need to let me know what day you want to do it, so I can take the Saturday off and I can be there for it.
We're gonna do it on Friday.
Okay, let me know the Friday you want to do it. Okay,
yes.
I want to be here. Everybody, I'm trying to get more involved, but I'm surviving capitalism in the United States, where I work 2 shit jobs, and tonight I got off a little bit early, and I'm like,
I'm gonna need you. I'm gonna need you when I have to leave for these days that I told you about off air.
Hey, guess what? I'll make it fucking happen, my friend.
I'm going to give you a month in advance notice. But anyway, Rollerball is about a society where corporations have fixed all the world's problems, and there's no more war, there's no more disease, there's no more famine, but there's this violent sport that's a mix of like football and roller derby called Rollerball, super violent. And James Caan is, and I'm bringing this up because of your point about the Cleveland, Detroit Rust Belt Super Bowl. James Caan's character is kind of like, imagine like a Tom Brady type character where he's like the GOAT of this league, and the owners of the league, because they own everything.
Yep.
They're like, we want a new James Caan character to come in, and we think you're too old. And James Caan's like, I still got some good years left in me. And
so
like,
so James Caan is the Dennis Quaid of Any Given Sunday, and they're looking for the Jamie Foxx.
Yes, but this is what happens when you make the rules. They go, okay, we need you to take a dive this game. Remember your wife. We totally took your wife. And they literally took his wife. They're like, we like your wife. We think she's hot. And we're going to fucking, this is what we do. We own everything. We take everything.
Yeah.
So he's kind of like, you can't take this from me. And they start changing the rules of the game to be more violent.
Oh.
And as violent as the game is getting, James Caan is still coming out on top as an older player. So at the championship game, they're like, oh, you know what? We're going to make this a death game. No time limit. No rule. Like whatever we have to do to kill you.
Jason, did this movie have ninjas though?
No.
Sorry, slightly, Tyler. It did not have ninjas. It had James Caan on roller skates. That's fucking right.
But I will say this: Enter the Ninja stars a James Caan lookalike that literally, I don't want to talk about it, but it stars a James Caan lookalike. But Rollerball is a movie that friend of show, guest on the show, Michael Harris, talks about in his latest book, Come With Me If You Want to Live. You know how science fiction tells us about our present. So the idea that the NFL pulls certain strings is an interesting thing to talk, especially when certain games are like, yeah, the NFL would never want that to happen because of ratings and blah, 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 blah. But they don't really have that much control.
I just, honestly, what I want, I think it'd be great if Cleveland and Detroit end up in it because they've never played in a Super Bowl. And all Goodell wants is the big market teams in the league, to be in that, that spotlight. Because like somebody already pointed out in chat, you and I will never be able to afford to go to a Super Bowl. Ever. It's not going to happen. Like fucking nosebleed seats at the Super Bowl are for like $4,000.
Yeah.
Like, bro, that is, unfortunately, and I hate to say this, that's like a fucking sixth of my pay right now for the year.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's a lot of fucking cash, man. You know?
I'm gonna need the OnlyFans to get that.
Well, we're waiting, Jason.
I'm gonna need to shake the bing bang.
Yeah, you gotta take that shot on the chest and show the feet.
I gotta do a lot of. There's gonna be a lot of tears involved if I get $4,000.
Yeah, everybody, you're just gonna hear both of us crying on camera, like, please don't do this.
and I'm like, but at least I got Mac those tickets to the fucking Cleveland Lions Super Bowl.
We're going to the Super Bowl, Mac. We're going to the Super Bowl. I can't see that in my eyes.
Yeah. I can't get an infection from this, can I?
But like that's the shitty part. And it's not even just the NFL anymore. Stanley Cup playoffs, stupid expensive. World Series tickets, stupid expensive. Like they're all stupid expensive. Like they want us on the hook during the regular season. And when playoffs hit though, they're like, hey, all you guys that have been buying the tickets and buying the beer and the jerseys and all the shit during the regular season with stupid high ticket prices, we don't need you here for the playoffs. This is where all the rich people come in, and they're going to take care of us now, right? And that is exactly why I wanted Cleveland-Detroit Super Bowl. And somebody said Baltimore. You're absolutely right. Baltimore is a fucking blue-collar city, but Baltimore is stupid good. Okay? Right? They're stupid good. And it's not a knock against the Ravens. I would actually love to watch Lamar Jackson win a goddamn Super Bowl. I love Lamar Jackson. Yeah, and I'm tired of all these fucking, fucking Twitter and fucking Jim Rome's and all these assholes talking shit about Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson. Again, sorry, guys. Lamar Jackson is a once-in-a-lifetime talent. A once-in-a-lifetime talent. Who was told, well, you're just going to be running quarterback. And he's changed his game quite a bit in the years he's in the league. And Baltimore finally put some receivers around him that can catch the fucking ball. Right? And he complements his game well with being able to get outside the pocket and run when he needs to. And he's still dropping dimes. I love Lamar Jackson. I want him to win a Super Bowl. Just not this year, guys. I'm sorry.
Mac is to be the enforcer for Monday Night Football. He'll read us our game right of being able to remain silent and get ready for some football.
You know what? I can't do any worse. Yes, thank you for the super chat, guys. But I can't do worse than Hank Williams Jr. and Carrie Underwood. Or whoever the fuck's playing the goddamn song now.
I don't fucking pay. Dude, there's so many songs. I try to get into the game like halfway. So Thursday night I miss because of the show.
Well, on top of that, most Thursday night games this year, you should be glad you missed. They were ass. I don't understand how the NFL is trying to like buddy up with Amazon. And then just like, you know what? You know what's a good Thursday night game, my friend? Arizona, Chicago. Let's go. Like I have Prime. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I hate using Amazon, but sometimes when I want a book and I can get it in 2 days, yeah, I'm gonna go through Amazon, right? So I have Prime still free from being in college, and I graduated in 2020. Amazon doesn't do a good job at checking that.
No.
So I still have my college email on it, and they're like, well, you get free Amazon now. And I'm like, bet. Free Prime. Right? And some Thursdays I won't work. And I'm here and I'm like, Arizona and fucking Jacksonville? Jesus Christ. You know what I'm going to do? Beat my dick until it screams at me. Go work out. Play some video games. Oh, it's the fourth quarter. I might catch that one. Like it's just like, why are you putting these shit games on Thursday? Why? I don't get it.
Are you beating it because you've hit that age where you're yelling at it to get up? Like, Fucking come on. No one's home. This is, I can have a.
The good thing is, I'm the stout white man that still happens. But I'm not gonna lie, still had Blue Chew just in case. Still had,
Fucking beating the shit out of me.
just like, come on, Jesus Christ, Jason, I'm so glad Tucson's not here right now.
Fucking roughing up. He's got brass knuckles. Roughing up this fucking Johnson. What is wrong with you? This is our moment.
Well, Mercutio said, glad to see I haven't missed the dick joke of the evening.
Someone said to me, someone asked me, they said, what do you do for a living? And I said, I have a show on YouTube. So what do you talk about? I said, I make dick jokes for a living. And I just walked away.
Yeah. Well, it's dick and large areola.
And large areola jokes. I'm like, and they go, really? And I go, no. That's not what I do.
No, it's what
a lot of what I do.
It's what I do on Available Wednesdays with my boy Mac.
About football. I want to. How do we get to the point that we're so big that other people like take clips of us and play it on the show, like Jason and Mac once again dropped a dime about sports, and then people think that we're just always just so intuitive.
Oh,
and then they actually watch the show. They're like, I had to watch like an hour and a half of dick jokes and.
I mean, for me, this is what's great about the show, right? We do sports, and then occasionally we go into dick and large areola jokes, or we get into these like deep, meaningful conversations about leftism, right? And what I love most about doing this is everybody's like you'll see chat pop up like, bro, I thought this was a sports show. And you're
fucking never talk about.
And you're talking about the thing, or I know you're. Oh, Dan Arcus, you calm the fuck down. You calm the fuck down. You calm the fuck down. Dr. Claw is a saint and a treasure. And Jason and I have already made up our character about Dr.
We've a whole Dr. Claw fan fiction.
Oh, dude, we did. But like,
whoa.
But that's the thing with this fucking show is like we cross into so many things about just we're being inane about the most ridiculous things, or we have these deep, meaningful like 3-hour shows where we like the first hour we talk about sports, and then we go into like actual leftism and collectivism. And Jason, I just want you to know I just finished If We Burn, just finished it today. Holy fuck.
And
amazing
right?
fucking book.
Just so you guys know, again, and I'm not saying this to feel don't feel shit for me. Don't ever feel shit for me. I woke up this morning, right? And I had to do a pre-record that's going to air Tuesday.
Okay.
With the editor of Compact Magazine. I'm sure people are like, Compact Magazine. He wrote a pretty good piece called Jeff Schellenberger wrote a good piece called Poverty of Anti-Wokeness. And
okay, before anybody decides to go, when you're writing and trying to get shit published, I wrote for the War Horse, which is a military, very specific website about my serving under a war criminal. One of the best articles I've ever written. Don't shit on anybody trying to write and trying to get it published, because I will like literally.
It's hard. Look, not everybody wants sometimes your shit doesn't fit with what they want.
Okay.
But anyway, this guy wrote a piece, and I had to read some other background information, into it, and I think we have a pretty interesting conversation. I don't know. I thought it was pretty good, and then I was like, okay, I got to get ready for the sports show today. And so there were some really good articles that came out about some stuff. Then I was having a conversation with some people I won't name. I'll write it to you in the chat. We were having this conversation about the neoliberalization of sports punditry.
Yes.
And how that is actually affecting the game and how people watch it, and how we actually it's affecting the way we even look at the value of players and their development. But anyway, So there's work that goes into this. Also, that being said, this is like the one day of the week that I know I can fuck off on the free show. And I don't always like trying to hide stuff behind spaces because not everybody likes to see us fuck off, to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, dude, Jason, that goes back to what we were talking about. Like, so many leftists, like, are you having fun? You better not be having fun. And I'm like, when like I work in some groups and I do a reading group and I crack jokes when I'm like reading the manifesto
Mhm.
or we're currently going over how nonviolence protects the state.
Ooh,
Right.
okay.
Heavy book.
Mhm.
And I cracked a few jokes in this reading group I'm in. And it's only like 8 of us. And like 3 of these young kids, and they're only like, I think they're like 18, 19, and 19. They're like, you're making a joke? And I'm like, why the fuck would I not? I was like, do you realize how heavy this shit is? And again, I just finished If We Burn.
Oof.
And Bevins picked up an important point in that book. And everybody in chat, read that book, If We Burn by Vincent Bevins. Talks about the mass protests we've had since like 2013,
Yeah.
but no revolution. And he talks about why we didn't. Right.
Mhm.
And it's because a lot of it, we lean so into this leftist purity. You can't make jokes. You can't have fun. You can't enjoy yourself for fucking 15 minutes.
Mhm.
I am 42 years old. Jason, you're 46. We have fucking lived long enough. Yes, Joey Nichols, that is the Chicago method offer.
Yep.
Fucking,
Same.
oh yes. But if you as a leftist cannot take a timeout to just go enjoy yourself, because we leftists actually give a shit about what's happening on the fucking planet. We care.
Yeah.
We care about what's happening in our communities. That's a heavy load to carry. Take an hour. Take 2. Take 3. I don't give a shit. Go to the bar and get fucked up. Jason has dealt with me texting him at 2:30 in the morning when I'm smashed.
Yes.
He has.
Yes.
And you know what this motherfucker does? Mac, I love everything you're saying, but I want to go to bed. We'll talk about it tomorrow. And he's still like, and me having my friend there. Like, Mac, I love you, dude. I'm listening. We're going to talk about it later. Right? Take that time out and do that. It's okay.
Yes.
It is fine to make jokes and have fun. You don't have to fucking, like, take it from a dude who spent 16 years in a goddamn organization where I had to square my politics and how I felt with taking care of kids that were being sent off to war. It was rough, dude. I fucking hate it. And if anybody wants to give me shit about being in a uniform, I freely admit that I will take that that criticism. I will. But the fact of the matter is, we do what we have to do to survive, and you're allowed to take a time out. Just take the time out.
Yeah.
And go do something for a few hours. Watch anime, play video games, fucking watch horrible fucking ninja movies from the 80s, right? Like, do that. But take the time out so you don't end up one of those purist leftists that think, oh, you had a laugh? You're not Marxist Leninist, you're not anarchist, you're not any of this enough. Like, bro, when people come at me with that, I'm like, hun, whether it's male, female, or whatever.
Yeah, they're all hun. Yeah,
hun.
They're all hun. Yeah.
I've been rocking a hammer and sickle and reading the manifesto since I was 17 fucking years old, and I'm 42. You can suck my dick from the back.
Oh wow.
But like trying to make me feel bad for taking a time out and enjoying myself with the people that I love. You're not gonna make me feel bad about that.
Look, I think we're winning the war of ideas here because DC Joe Black says he's watching The Octagon right now, which is the first American movie, I believe, that uses ninjas. So shout out to DC Joe Black. It's a Chuck Norris film. There's a white man with the mustache. We got him.
And apparently that's the metric we use now, guys.
Yes.
If you're gonna watch a great action film, white man with a mustache, apparently a mask at some point, ninja mask. We have to have a ball crushing tool, right?
I'm gonna fucking look before we go, before you get the fourth sheet into the wind. We have
that's the thing. Like, I'm drinking adult seltzer because, again, pay me and I will call you out on the street. But like this shit, dude, this is what I love, Jason. Like, I spent 16 years in the infantry. I can drink enough to sedate a rhino. And if it was an Olympic sport, I'd play silver. But seltzers, all it does is make me want to laugh more, Like, I'm not one of those like sloppy drunks if I don't drink liquor. If I drink liquor, actually, some of you might have seen that because I've done that on the stream.
I think that's illegal, right?
Well, I mean, dude, Marcus was here, and all three of us were like, we spent the last 30 minutes just like
fucking lit.
Dude, we were done, man. It was so bad. And after that, I was like, I'm not drinking liquor with Jason anymore until I get to Mexico, and then I'm gonna just drink my body weight.
Oh yeah, it's really cheap out here.
Well, I love tequila. Tequila is delicious to me. So, but yeah, man, like, and that I'm just saying, everybody, have a good time, have fun. It's okay. It is okay.
I want to show you something.
Oh my gosh. Is it another like crazy white woman?
It's better. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna save it to the end of the show because before we go, I do want to talk a little bit about playoffs.
Somebody already in chat said playoffs in caps.
I first of all, can we give a huge TRR shout out to CJ Stroud?
Okay.
Real talk, CJ Stroud.
How about real talk this? I'm tired of Ohio State fans saying he doesn't have the dog in him. One, I don't know what that fucking means. Mm-hmm. That dog. That just seems like some angry white folks said that live in like Columbus and the intermediate space between Cleveland and Columbus. That guy was the most pro-ready quarterback to get drafted. Oof. And what did he fucking do?
Take a team to the playoffs.
That won 2 games last year.
With who's the superstar receiver? Who's the superstar?
I mean, they drafted some good ones. But like, for real. Like, goddamn, I love CJ. I'm not going to give him shit about losing to Michigan. I won't do that. Because you know what? I'm not a piece of shit Ohio State fan.
Him crying at the end of that game, make it into the playoffs, touched my soul.
Bro, it's just like when people were bitching about Caleb Williams when he cried losing that game.
Oh.
I'm like, yo, he's emotional because he lost or won. Like, who gives a fuck, dude? When you are passionate about something and it works out or does not in your favor and you cry, who gives a fuck?
If you're not getting emotional doing something like that, how serious are you? So the Texans, I don't know if they're going to go far.
No, they're not. They're not beating the Browns.
I think they're one.
They're not beating the Browns.
But about the Browns, and you are a Cleveland fan, and
no,
every time
I'm a Pats fan. But I know, wrote about the Browns.
You're a fan. I get it, and you're an old school. We talked about Scott Zolak years, the pre-fucking Bledsoe years. Pats fan. I know, Tony Eason.
My number 11 will always be Drew Bledsoe.
My first out-of-town show that I ever did in 1995 in San Diego, California, I am wearing a Drew Bledsoe 11 Pats jersey.
As you should, because first off, the Pats, I mean, if anybody doesn't know.
I have a picture of it somewhere I should show you.
if anybody doesn't know, in 92, right before they drafted Bledsoe in 93, Robert Kraft buys the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, and keep in mind, Robert Kraft grew up in Massachusetts. Huge Pats fan. Makes $1 bajillion million. Buys his hometown team.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly he's like, I don't like the Minuteman on the helmet. Do you know what just went out of business in 1993? The Columbus Glory of the World League of American Football. And you know what they did to pay off their creditors? Sold off their jerseys and their helmets and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And Robert Kraft had no more money left, really, to do anything. So he bought those jerseys and those helmets.
Really?
And then paid somebody to do the Elvis logo.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Side note, love the Minuteman.
The Oh, dude, I still love it.
I fucking love old school Patriots jerseys.
Oh, yes. But they literally bought the Columbus Glory jerseys, helmets, jerseys, pants, and just stripped the logo off the helmet. And he paid somebody cents on the dollar to do that. Fucking.
I did not know that.
Yep.
I did not know that. That being said, Joe Flacco is on one of the most heartwarming runs,
bro.
we've seen since.
I don't give a shit if he's only played 5 games. Comeback player of the year. Period. End of story.
Over Russ, over Justin Fields. Okay,
for one, Fields isn't getting comeback. Absolutely not. And Russ, no fucking way. Wow. No fucking way. They didn't miss any time. They didn't. They just had down years. That's not comeback. Comeback is when you miss time and you come back and dominate. Joe Flacco has literally led the league in passing since he came back with the Browns. Yardage and touchdowns. He's thrown quite a few interceptions, but the Browns defense is good enough to kind of get away with that. You know what I mean?
The Browns running game after losing their superstar all-world running back Nick Chubb. Losing your quarterbacks. An amazing job of coaching that we've seen in Cleveland.
The Browns have started 5 starting quarterbacks this year in 17 games. 5. Absolutely batshit crazy, and they won 11 games.
Can the Browns beat the Dolphins or the Ravens?
Dude, I'm gonna tell you right now, the Dolphins can't play defense anymore. The only bigger draw.
Leaving Chubb, was that the biggest mistake? Leaving Chubb in that blowout?
No,
seeing the ACL get tore.
Even past that defense wasn't any good. The fact of the matter is the only bigger drop off than the Dolphins defensively is the Eagles. Period.
Oof.
The Eagles just forgot how to play defense, and they stripped play calling from their coordinator and gave it to Matt Patricia.
Good move.
Yeah, it's worked out pretty well. Yeah. But the Dolphins haven't figured out how. The Dolphins beat teams they should and lose to the creme de la creme, right? Mm-hmm. And there's a reason that the fucking Bills fucking took him as close as they did. You know what I mean? And this is a Bills team where I don't know what happened to Josh Allen this season. Josh Allen, I think he fell back a bit. And I think a lot of that was him trying to, he's trying to produce too much.
Yeah, that's fair.
And their offensive line isn't as good as it's been. And they're not running the ball as well.
Not at all.
So Josh Allen is trying to get the ball out. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if the Bills don't go deep into in their second and third round picks, if they don't pick a wide out, somebody they can develop and have next to Diggs and Gabe Davis, they're gonna be fucked. Because I don't know about Knox, that tight end they drafted last year.
Mm-hmm.
He's been he has like a couple games where he's like, fucking yeah, Knox. And then he does 2 of those and has 3 where he doesn't show up at all. You know, so like with the way the game is now, you have to have a pass catching tight end. You know, and Knox does block well. He's a Utah tight end. Utah tight ends typically block well because they are
Great
very
running
run
game.
heavy offense. You know, but like this is a guy that, you know, set the world on fire in college as a tight end, catching the ball. Fucking Joey, who's the kid they draft from Utah? I apologize.
He says Kincaid.
Kincaid, thank you. Joey, I appreciate you, man. Thank you. But you know, like you have to have that guy. In Buffalo, I like I said, I think Josh Allen is just forcing balls where he shouldn't. You have a guy like Stephon Diggs, who is a game-changing quarterback, and he's not getting the ball to him. And they're honestly in Diggs' defense, you know, he's double covered every time he gets off the line.
It feels like every catch he's making is an amazing catch.
Yeah,
people beating coverage.
You know, but still, like, you know, Buffalo. There's a reason they won the East, because Miami they don't know how. Honestly, they don't know how to beat the teams that like the upper echelon teams. They don't.
But is this the parity that we've always talked about? Again, you and I grew up in an era of football where you want to talk about old school coaches and new school mentalities. We grew up in an era where Bill Walsh was kind of a man alone with the West Coast offense for a long time.
Well, it's because, you know what, the NFL could not figure out the West Coast offense until the late 90s. They couldn't do it. So in 84, you know, Walsh takes over, or was it 83?
No, Walsh took over in 78.
Okay. Well, but it wasn't really entrenched until the early 80s, right?
Yeah.
That's when you saw the Niners just start rolling off Super Bowl wins.
Well, he starts to get the players that he wants. He gets Montana,
right.
He gets, you know, Freddie Solomon,
Roger Craig, and Dwight Clark. Yeah. So he gets the people he wants in that run in the 80s, but nobody figured out the West Coast offense until probably about the mid 90s. And honestly, that happens because linebackers are faster, safeties are faster. Yeah. So go ahead and throw it over the middle. Go ahead. You're going to have a
different game too. You could get hit.
Yeah.
You get hit over the middle back then.
Yeah. You know, but like defensive players got a lot faster. So like when you see like Gruden, when he comes back to the Raiders running the same old West Coast system, and it did nothing because the West Coast offense cannot be fully employed anymore. You can't do it. That's not the way the game is.
Pro sets and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like old school pro sets.
You know, it's just like
we're bringing back the fullback in the
like Gruden's like, well, that's the thing. That's what killed me about the Niners when John Lynch takes over and signs Jasicek to like a 4-year deal for $10 million. He's a fullback.
Yeah.
What? I mean, granted, Shanahan knows how to flex that guy in and out. Like you see him line up in the backfield. You see him line up as an extra tight end. You see him actually line up in the slot. You know, like Jasicek isn't like the Lorenzo Neal fullback. You know, this giant, you know, like 5'10", 260-pound, like just
extra guard in the backfield. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, so, you know, but like I just never understood why Gruden would bring that offense back when you've been out of coaching for what, like 10 years, and Vegas brings him back and he's like running the same shit. And I'm like, you're not really, he's really doing this. He's, yeah, this is not good. And then Davis gave him that giant deal. I mean, if I'm Mark Davis, you know what I'm doing? I'm like, I'm glad him and Bruce Allen got racist on the emails so I can fire him. You know, like,
yeah.
I mean, McDaniels wasn't the hire. He was not the hire that you needed. Like Josh McDaniels has shown he cannot be a head coach. He can be an amazing coordinator. And we've talked about this before. It's okay to be an amazing coordinator. Jim Knowles at Ohio State, right?
Mm-hmm.
Amazing defensive coordinator. He coached one of the top defenses on the planet at Oklahoma State in the Big 12, who does not play defense
at all.
At all. And so this is his second year at Ohio State. And everybody's like, well, we didn't do well enough last year. I'm like, dude, do you not realize how complex Jim Knowles' playbook is? And it is. It's stupid complex. You need 2 years to figure it out.
But again, development. Can we see if the system works? Everything has to work right away.
Well, that's the thing with Knowles. Like for him, he only plays 4 down linemen, 2 linebackers, and he's got like a flex back. That's kind of like a mix between a linebacker and a safety, which you need in the college game now. You need a guy that can like flex in the coverage or fit the box, make the big hits against the run. And dude, I think going into year 3 at Ohio State, like our defense was phenomenal this year. It really was. They can piss and moan about the Michigan game and the Cotton Bowl. Defense wasn't the problem. It was the offense that was a fucking problem, right? Like people are like, well, McCord transferred. Well, yeah, he was such a bitch ass. He went to Syracuse and showed up on their fucking sideline when they lost like by 45 points. So fuck Kyle McCord. He can gargle my nutsack, Kyle McCord.
Wow. We are on the free show. And
The free one?
when he meant nutsack, he meant salted nuts, brought to you by Planners.
That's right. Or emerald. I do like almonds.
Salted almonds. Brought to you.
Joey, here's the thing. I'm gonna tell you this right now. Before this season, I'm the guy because I write about sports.
Question is, do you believe in Ryan Day? You have to read the question, Mac.
I know that's what I'm addressing right now.
But you have to read what you're addressing.
Okay, Joey, do I believe in Ryan Day? God damn. Is Toussaint here? Jason, is Toussaint
here? Those nuts, once again, brought to you by Planners. Use code TIR. These nuts.
But no, Joey, the thing is, before this season, because I write about sports, I'm always very, I'm not a knee-jerk reaction type of guy, right? I'm not that dude. I gave Kyle McCord a lot of leeway this year. He made great throws. He really did. He won the games he was supposed to. But for me, when you have arguably the best wide receiver room in the country, and the only other room in the country that can argue Ohio State is Washington, hands down. When I saw Ryan Day, instead of coaching to win during the Michigan game, he coached not to lose, which is exactly what he did. At this point, I was like, going into this coming season, he's coaching for his job. And I understand he's only lost 6 games in his entire career. I'm well aware. But the fact of the matter is, the guy has lost 3 straight against Michigan. And nobody's lost that many against Michigan since fucking John Cooper. And John Cooper was 2-9-1 against Michigan.
Didn't he win some natties? Cooper
No.
never won a natty?
John Cooper never won one. You got to remember John Cooper's job before he got Ohio State, Arizona State.
That's right. Did he win a natty at Arizona?
No.
They were in the Mountain West, right? Whatever it was called back then. I don't think they were in the Pac-10 yet.
He coached their transition from the WAC.
The WAC. That's what it was. WAC.
And Cooper, again, everybody, I just want you to
know. Tampa.
What's that?
Wasn't Cooper the one that ended up going to Tampa?
No. Cooper, after he got axed by Ohio State, never coached again.
Yeah, he went to Tampa, right? Who's the Ohio State coach that went to Tampa?
No. Dirk Cutter went from Arizona State to Tampa.
No, dude. John Cooper went to Tampa the first year. He did the first 2 seasons with Tampa.
Oh, like when they expanded?
When they expanded, yeah.
I can. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's correct. Yes, but like after his time at Ohio State, he never coached again.
In college,
ever. He did not coach again after Ohio State.
I swear he went to. Who was the coach? Can someone look this up? Did John Cooper coach at Tampa Bay after Ohio State?
Okay, here we go.
Why does it say ice hockey?
Okay, so John Cooper, assistant at Iowa State, Oregon State, UCLA, Kansas, and Kentucky. Then he became a head coach and was at University of Tulsa from 77 to 84, Arizona State 85 to 87, Ohio State 88 to 2000. And there's not a more maligned head coach. Dude, Jason, here's his record.
Who was the coach? Who was the coach at Ohio State in the 70s?
Oh, fuck me.
That's what I'm
No.
thinking.
That was fucking
Who was that coach? Ohio State.
Here we go. All right, so in the 70s, we had Woody Hayes.
Woody Hayes. So I'm sorry, it wasn't John. It was Hayes. Thank you, Slightly Feathers.
Was 58 to 78. Earl Bruce was 79 to 87. Cooper took over from Bruce until 2000. We had Tressel from 01 to 2010. Fickle had the interim year in 2011.
Yeah.
Meyer from 2012 2018. And
I'm thinking hella far back. It was Woody Hayes. That's who it was. Sorry, all white people look alike. All old white people are all the same. Those racist jokes were brought to you by Emerald Nuts
and White Claw. So
use code TIR these nuts.
And then get 10% off your Emerald Nuts.
10% off your fucking nut order.
God, why can't they just give us that? Because we can totally do this.
We're not famous enough. So I looked into that, and I looked into two things. Because a friend of mine, Dan Larson, great show. If you guys like pop culture and you're old people, please watch Dan Larson's Secret Galaxy. Dan sneaks in so much real history in those shows for his fan base. I love Dan. Dan has crazy sponsorships, right? That's how he's paying his rent. And I was like, okay, what do I got to do to get on the Magic Spoon? And I saw how many fucking downloads you have to have a month. And we were almost there with the audio podcast. And then I looked to see how much Magic Spoon cost.
Dude, you know what?
Do you know how much that cereal cost?
No.
Do you know how much that cereal cost? It's like $20 for cereal. It's like healthy cereal.
I'm 42 years old. I don't eat cereal anymore. You want
to? Oh, go fuck yourself. I just bought a bag of generic fucking Fruit Loops, not in English. I'm probably eating nothing but toxins.
Well, dude, what kills me is like one of my favorite podcasts is Trash Future, right? And it's based out of the UK. And on Patreon, you could see what these whoever's putting their Patreon up.
Yeah,
dude, they make $72,000 a month.
And
they split it between 4 people.
Oh,
and I'm like, where did I go wrong in my life? Mike McDaniels is 38 years old and is the head coach of the Miami Dolphins, making $8 million a year. I'm jealous of a podcast where I was like, bro, can you split it 5 ways?
They have producers and all kind of shit.
Yeah,
dude, look. A few friends in this business I know have made some real money. Not as many as people think.
But you know what, everybody? I'm not here to make money. I'm here to hang out with Jason, talk some sports, make some big areola jokes.
And those lies were brought to you by Emerald Nuts.
I'm here for the people that want to fucking hang out and watch me talk about sports
while we should call this. We should change the name on the Red Zone to, shit-faced Shit face, shit talk.
No, I wish I could get shit faced like that, man. Like I think I think the 16 years I spent in the military has really inhibited my ability to get shit faced because like if you spent 4 years in the military, doesn't matter what branch,
Mhm.
your ability to get fucked up is just non-existent anymore because
Can I-
that 4 years
Mhm.
you
Can I
spent almost blackout.
ask you a sidebar question?
Absolutely.
I'm a little older than you. Do you remember a cartoon when you were a little boy called Robotech?
Oh yeah.
Early on when I was doing this show many moons ago when I was still doing it in studio, I had an interview with a friend of mine who's a musician, and he brought up Robotech, and he goes, Jason, do you remember Robotech? I was like, yeah. He goes, didn't it ruin every relationship you would ever have in your life? Yes, I'm still
Yes.
looking for my Lin Min May.
Yeah. I mean, I watched
Because Dan Larson just did they're talking about it in the chat because Dan Larson did a Robotech episode where he went over the history of all this licensing bullshit.
Yeah.
But do you remember that show?
Yes, I do. And you know what one really ruined me? There was a cartoon late 90s that actually dealt with colonization a lot where where Terrans went to other planets in our solar system, like they went to Mercury and Venus, and they had these aliens and they like fought this big war, and it was like Exo something.
Oh, yeah, that was also part of that same licensing universe.
Yeah. And there was this
yes.
blue skin chick that walked around this giant exoskeleton, but had giant like the illustrator was like, well, there's this big frame right here where she's got to get locked in. I'm gonna fill it with Shannon tweets.
With Shannon tweets.
Oh my god. But yeah.
Dude, I'm gonna get so many FUs.
Yes, JD, Exo Squad.
Exactly yeah, dude.
Yes.
We have to look. There's a few things I would really love to do, and I would really, really, really love to do. I hit up JG and I was like, dude, let's do a show about shitty ninja movies. He goes, yes. I would love to do another show about first wave. I don't know if we call it first wave because we did get a lot of stuff from the 60s and 70s in America, but Robotech, I think, is the first American Japanese gold, and I fucking love that shit. I know there's people watching right now that are like, dude, I fucking love that shit. Dude, so we have to do at some point we have to do a Robotech thing. Just remind me. See, Sith Lord Prince. I remember Robotech. My brothers had the VHS game. I love that game. I begged my grandmother to sign me up to the Robotech fan club where I got an iron-on patch and a fucking letter that said I was part of the SDF fucking protection squad. And I carried it in my little kid wallet. You know how you give a little kid a wallet and he thinks he's an adult?
It's Velcro.
Yeah. Oh, Velcro wallet, Robotech. Yeah, you need CID?
Yeah.
There's no picture of you. Just,
hey, you know what else we need to do? We need to do like maybe a champagne room.
Yeah.
Where we watch a shitty military movie. And we get maybe we can talk Marcus into coming on too, but we just
I think he would do that.
But we just tear it apart.
You know what we really need to do? Do that in real life. Like, let's go. I'm being serious and I'm brainstorming here on air with you guys because I feel like the people that are watching can make this happen. Let's do a live thing and we can do like the fellas watch a movie with dudes. Like we go to a bar.
Oh, yes. And just like project it.
I would go to Fayetteville because I haven't been out there in years. I think the last time I was out there was like 2015.
Oh my gosh, dude, you're gonna be sorely let down about how it's
a glowing metropolis now. Golly,
woo!
There's a lot less pawn shops. I tell you what.
If that was only the case.
Let's I'm being so serious right now. Let's do a Jason and Mac live movie night in Fayetteville.
Dude, I have my dive bar would totally be down with that. Totally be down with that because they're just like trying to find like people to come in because it's a dive bar.
Yeah.
But like they have a whole wall we could actually put it on. Right. And Jesus Christ, we just picked the most horrible military film. Like we can do the new Thin Red Line. Right? Like with James Caviezel, Jesus, and Nick Cage. And that movie was so bad too. Be amazing.
Dude, let's, like, I'm being serious. Let's do a live show where we watch a movie. Like, I'm serious. We go, we watch movies, and then
I am down. But you know who I want there?
Who?
Toussaint.
The only thing about getting Toussaint, this is the thing. Toussaint loves her anonymity.
I'm okay. She doesn't have to get in front of the camera. I just want to hear her behind us like, you both shut the fuck up. Just shut up.
That's what she did at the New York live show. She'd like get off to the side. She would cut, dude. She would totally. If we could get her, we have to help her get down there, right? She's not a rich woman.
I just need her in my ear chirping, Jason. That's what I need.
That would be. We got to figure out. Okay, look. Let's figure out how we make that happen. Let's figure out how to make that happen. Like seriously, and do like that would be hella fun.
Fuck yes, dude.
To do that, and then, we'll do it for free. We won't try to charge any tickets or anything. We'll try to figure out how we do it for free. Maybe ask the bar for a cut of the bar or some shit like that.
Dude, we can do this because I think we have a good enough following, and I thank Marcus for this because he's the loudest lefty vet I've ever met, and I love him for it.
Yeah.
But there are so many people that stream Left Flank, and a lot of them are around Fayetteville because like Fayetteville is just like, you get so many people that come in, they're just like, I fucking hate the army. Why did I do this? Like, and especially
give me 1 second because I keep hearing a noise. It's kind of scaring me.
Everybody, Jason is terrified about what he's hearing in Rosarito, Mexico. It's probably a spider, if we're thinking about it. It's probably a spider on his deck, and he can just hear the all over. And yes, Joey, they remade it. John Cusack was a fucking lieutenant. It was an awful film. But I am willing to watch any amount of bad military films, whether it's fucking, American Sniper, 13 Hours, Black Hawk Down. They're all bad. They are all straight up propaganda. And I'll watch it if Jason and I can sit there and just rip it apart. And you could all witness the majesticness of the shit show that are these stupid military movies. But yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, like guys, Jason told me a lot of you appreciated the episode I did with Dr. Walton, who's a great friend of mine. I love that. Dr. Walton, if you don't follow him, he's a professor at Western Carolina.
I left my screen on because I so when you have concrete houses out here, you can get mold really quick. So I leave my sliding door to the terrace cracked, and it got windy kind of all of a sudden, and I was like, what the fuck was that? And I thought I heard someone come through the sliding door. So I was like, fuck.
Okay, JD, The Beast was an amazing movie. It was amazingly bad, but it was amazing. I watched it like 100 times.
The mosquito enforcers after him before. Scorpion's a great movie. That's what we could watch. Dude, we could totally.
Dude, we could. Jason, we have to brainstorm this, but I do.
Got terrified right now, dude.
I do have a sleep study I'm supposed to be doing, so I have to go.
Okay, before you go, your playoff picks.
Okay. Again, my biggest wish is a Cleveland Detroit Super Bowl. I just don't think anybody beats San Fran and Baltimore. I think they meet in the Super Bowl. Like, those are the two best teams. And I mean, we saw Baltimore lay it on San Fran a couple weeks ago.
They beat the fire out of there.
But Shanahan, with a fully healthy complement of all the playmakers, I think it's gonna be a lot closer. And don't ask me to make a pick now. I have to watch more of the playoff games before I do that.
All right, that's fair. Okay, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Sorry I had to leave because I had to check to see if the cartel finally found out.
And they sent the mosquitoes. They sent them.
I like wave to the cartel house all the time, and they're the only people that don't wave back.
Yeah, they just send them mosquitoes. Next thing I know, guys, you're going to see me a lot more on TIR because Jason's laid up with a cartel version of malaria.
I'm always like, hey, and they're like, God, you guys have to be so fucking hard all the time. That's what she said. That insult was brought to you by
Emerald almonds.
Emerald almonds
And
use
White
code.
Claw. The black cherry ones, not the mango, because the mango's gross.
If we got a White Claw sponsorship,
Oh my God, dude.
that's how you know you're famous.
That's how we know. That's how we know we made it. And then that's when everybody stops watching, Jason. They're like, y'all sold.
People stopped watching.
Y'all,
Dude, you should
y'all
see
sold
some of
out.
that shit.
Y'all sold out. Got that White Claw.
Somebody told me something about selling out because I was a guest on some show. I'm like, dude, you know that shit's free. God. I don't get money for that. Are you high? I was like, if you think so, look at this. Look at this. Look at this.
It's the most 80s thing I've ever seen.
If your movie doesn't have this at the beginning, I don't even want to watch it. Joseph Lai made all those insane ninja movies where ninjas have like fucking red and yellow outfits and they wear a headband that says ninja on it.
Oh, just the track itself right there is the winner.
You see Richard Harrison? Oh shit! Look at that ninja fit, dude.
Master.
Mustache.
For the past decade, we have had a long war.
His headband says ninja on it, and there's a picture of two ninjas fighting.
Absolutely fucking bad shit. Absolutely bad shit.
If you aren't watching this type of cinema, this virtual says we might see a home invasion. We might see a home invasion. Dude, I was so terrified. Mac, I can laugh now because I was like, oh, dude, I'm either going to die or have a bowel movement on camera. Either way, it's not good. Thank you guys for hanging out with us.
Love all of you.
We are
out.